Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ESL Mobile Open. We're here with our first ladder finals for our fall season of PUBG Mobile. I'm Inverum, and I'm joined by the one and only Glitter Explosion as we break down the last week of gameplay, all culminating in today, Glitter, because today we have our final tournament for this first ladder, and I'm excited to see what's going to go down.
Oh, I'm super excited, okay? Because typically we only get to do the recap of what's already happened. All right, this time I get to be here for some live action PUBG Mobile insanity. And I honestly, I couldn't be more excited.
I mean, PUBG Mobile is a game that is very close to both of our hearts, so it is exciting to have you here for the whole broadcast. But I'm glad you mentioned about that recap, because we still have to recap the last week of games, because a lot went down leading up to this for our program here for the ESL Mobile Open. If you're just joining us, you're like, wait a second, ESL Mobile Open, I've heard of it maybe, but I'm not 100% familiar. It's basically this amazing program where you get to experience what it's like to just compete in mobile esports across a bunch of different game titles all around the world. We've got an amazing program here, and there's a lot going on this year. So let's take a look at how it all works.
Welcome to ESL Mobile, the home of mobile esports. ESL Mobile is a global program designed to give you an opportunity to compete in your favorite mobile games, featuring multiple game titles, taking place in 3 regions, and offering 2 levels of competition. There's something here for everyone. ESL Mobile Open is the gateway to competitive play, free to join and open to any resident of our supported regions. This is the best way for you to enjoy the thrill of victory and take your shot at winning cash prizes. Each season of Mobile Open will consist of 2 ladders, and the top competitors from each will qualify for the Mobile Open play-ins. ESL Mobile Challenge is your path to glory. If you are a top competitor in the Mobile Open play-ins, you will earn a spot in the Mobile Challenge season. The top team from each ladder will skip the play-ins and qualify directly for the Mobile Challenge season. This is where you'll have the chance to compete against the best players in your region. At the end of each season, top Mobile Challenge players will compete in the Mobile Challenge Finals to determine a winner and be crowned their region's champion. ESL Mobile is for everyone. This is your opportunity to join a diverse and growing community of players across the world and see just how far you can go.
All right, now that you guys know what our program is all about, of course, we still have to recap everything for you guys that went down this last week. That's what we always do. So we're going to do it here yet again, and that is obviously going to be PUBG Mobile specific this time, because somehow in Verum, even though we are going into finals, we still had some shakeups this last week.
We certainly did. Let's take a look at our leaderboard. Let's see how the last week of play ended up rounding out. And I can't honestly say I'm surprised. Up there at the top, of course, it's Nova Esports. They have to be the favorites coming into this. They have international level experience, competed, I think, all the way up as far as the PMPL, the World, and the World League as well, Glitter. So this is a team that everyone has their eyes on. And yes, they may be pretty far out ahead, but there's some of the other squads that are definitely still hanging with them.
Hanging with them, to say the least, and you can see, I mean, yeah, there's, a little bit of a gap there for the score, but with the second we get down to second, third, fourth, the scores, that point gap instantly closes down. Okay, these teams have been battling it out week over week. Tarn dropping down, they were a team that we had followed a lot over the past few weeks of this first ladder for Tarn Turin. But in general, we're seeing some movement here on the leaderboard. Even in our final week, we've got Druidas up there in 3rd place, Overhaul in 4th, Vitality Esports, GG. There's somebody we've also kept our eyes on there all the way down there in 8th, but it's PUBG Mobile. It's not just this top 8 situation. It is a whole second page, and there's new names on here in Verum, and I don't understand how our teams do it.
I love it, because there's a reason why we have 4 weeks of play. We give teams opportunities to join in, jump in the fray, get their names out there, and get themselves in this top 16 that will be competing today in our final tournament. Mortal NA up there as well, but some new names that we haven't necessarily seen over the last few weeks. It's fantastic. But as we take a look back at some of the highlights, I think it's not overly surprising, some of the outcome from all this. We can see V2, you can see Atan Esports out there. Atan, of course, is a team that we've seen in seasons past. They're a team that has come in, I think, as #1 seeds in previous season, or in a previous season. So they're definitely a squad that we always have to keep their eyes on. You can see the ones actually being shot at in this clip, but Glitter, they end up turning things a bit on their head.
Yeah, I mean, we're on board here with V2, and you can see V2 is that team that's trying to do some damage to Atan, seeing if they can maybe take this hill from them. But unfortunately, they do have Druidas at their back. So they're trying to figure out how do they make their move into the zone safely, knowing that there's still a squad that's going to be pushing out from the blue. And these are the types of decisions that we see these teams have to make all the time. The smart decision making, the coordinated gunplay, the mechanical movement that we see, those are going to be the differentiating factors when we're going into something like the finals here for this ladder.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's that combination of factors. It's obviously pure mechanical skill. It's huge. And then, of course, it's how you can react under pressure in situations like this. But then it's also your team cohesion, the ability, like we saw in this clip, to keep all 4 members of your team alive, the decision making. That's really, I think, what's going to separate the teams that are coming in and doing pretty well versus the team that is going to end up on top. And a team that's looking to do that here, of course, Vitality. I mean, this is a squad who, again, we haven't got to see a ton of. They've always sort of been up there in the mix, but now they're showing up in a big way, Glitter. They are looking dangerous.
Yeah, this was a huge play for them, and we obviously saw them there in our top 8 for our leaderboards coming into the finals. And you can see here that they're in a top 4 situation. What they do is they first take care of the team they know is that they're back. This is something we've seen in both these highlights. Now, you obviously don't want to get pushed in on from behind by a squad that's coming out of the blue. That'd be a worst case scenario, especially when, you know, you've got other teams you have to push through in the process. But the thing that kind of worked in their favor is that the other 2 squads end up going head to head. One does go down, and the remaining squad only has 1 player up that Vitality has to worry about after that engagement with the team that was behind them in the blue. So, you know what? I mean, why not? We're in the last week. They're gonna decide to go with, you know, a little bit of player points here.
A little bit spicy, yeah. I think they end up getting these final last downs so you can see them on the flank because they have to push in. They don't have the circle, and it's a big open field, so they need to make a play right here. They get that opening knock, they get the second, and now they've got a great idea of where this last player is. And of course, Glitter, like you said, it's one of the final weeks. We got to go for style points as everybody hops in a vehicle, a little bit of road rage to finish that game. And they get the run over for the chicken dinner there at the end and put up a pretty staggering amount of kills. I think 11 kills there as well to close that out. But that's the kind of play you love to see. They know they need to push in. They know they need to take the circle, and they're going to do it in style. A lot of great gameplay happened over the last few weeks. Her Gaming is back once again to help break down some of these plays. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, it's Her Gaming and welcome back. I really enjoyed how this final circle played out. It's not a very common end zone, and there's really only one big compound. And if you're lucky enough to have rotated there first, you really are the only team with solid cover. A lot of shots going back and forth with 5 teams shooting in all different directions. Team 6 pulling up to the fence and taking advantage of it being clear and working together as a unit. Team 6 does end up getting a few down players, some with very little help, but smokes coming out at the right time really helped this team. I love that they're all in sync at this point. There is so much action going on right now, you can really only focus on one thing at a time. Now with only 1 member standing, it does add to the pressure of a push. Whether the other team is watching the kill feed to gain some idea as to how many members are left, they do gain some understanding as one pushes around the corner, shots are being fired, and Brooke gets that initial knock and is on 1 HP. Can only imagine the adrenaline at that point. Again, another end zone you don't see often. And a toxic one. As teams have to cross the Rozhok River, if you're already on the favouring side of the river, you have the complete control of teams who try to rotate over. Team 4 here we see gaining a bird's eye view of the zone up on the roof, cleaning up what's left of members out in the blue zone as well, and quickly getting that med off as zone starts to shrink in. You really don't want to be in a situation where you have to med and battle the blue zone at the same time. But we see Team 18, the Knights, really just having a field day as they rain all shots down onto Team 4 as they try to cross the river. And now we have that lovely 2v1 ending. With the Knights knowing exactly where the remaining team is, they push from all different angles, giving off the pre-fire with the UMP and grenades being tossed. The push up with the pressure as the solo shoots back a few shots, but Chico pulling out that DP with the 4 times. I love Miramar final circles. The terrain is so different from Erangel, as snaking and going prone might not help you out. Ridges and sand dunes, even a rock might be your best friend. We see Team 5 sitting comfortably at a rock, does manage to get a knockoff on Team 3 as he runs into the open road, catching him off guard. Still jumping and gets a player down to low health. A Tommy gun in close range is a little intimidating. Vital Chica pushing up but gets knocked and thirsted instantly. And we're back with another 2v2 ending. I love watching 2v2 endings play out, seeing who can get that first crucial knock. With zone shifting in 10 seconds, Team 3 starts to smoke out, giving themselves a bit of cover as they're on the lower ground. Blindly spraying through the smoke, not allowing the members to push up, and hoping to get that lucky knock or hit. As it continuously shrinks, Team 5 push up on the higher ground. Getting that first connection onto Team 3. With the quick drop shot and gun switch, they push down and finish off the last remaining player. If there's any zone you're running from, it's the Sandhawk zone. With the map already being one of the smallest maps and the zone shrinking it down to a smaller size, squads evidently begin running into each other. Running into different teams in one of the final circles, and all angles compounds are occupied by other squads. You want to begin rotating into the center of zone as soon as it shifts, because Sandhawk zones are not forgiving to these squads. You might be in zone and gatekeeping another squad from entering, but there's always that other squad who is more in favor with the zone. As Team 4 start taking a bit of damage trying to run into the new zone, and Team 6 spraying them down from the compound, that just happens to be the only one in zone. And Team 4 also end up catching off some of the late squads running into the zone. Definitely a good way to pick up a few points, but you don't want to end up racing the zone back as well. With a 4v1v1 left, Team 6 catching all angles as they push up on the last member of Team 4, and the remaining solo, going out to the play zone in second place. Well guys, thank you so much for being here. That is all I have for you guys this week. I look forward to seeing you next week, and let me know what some of your favorite highlights were from this week. Anyway guys, I will catch you guys next week. Bye!
So many names that we recognize also in those highlights. I mean, I feel like we should have an idea of how today might go, but then again, there's new people on the leaderboard. So after that, I feel like it's anybody's game.
And that's what makes this so tough to predict, because we've only seen these sort of snippets of these teams over the last few weeks, and we get to see the highlights. We get to see the teams performing at their best. But PUBG Mobile is a game of consistency. You need to be able to perform over the next 5 games. So it's going to come down to which team can chain together those impressive highlight plays. But Glitter, we got to say goodbye to you for now, because we got to get the commentators in here, because we got to get this gameplay underway. Don't worry, Glitter will be back later on in the show, because it's time for Degon to return to us. It has been far too long. There's the camo. That's what we're looking for. How you doing, bud?
Great. I'm just so excited to be back here in another ladder finals where the stakes have been raised and the teams have earned their way on in.
Absolutely. Cameron Davis, of course, is back as well. Looking so fast. Look at you. God, this is great. The gang is back together again. Cam, this one's going to be fun because there's like a couple of these really well-known established teams, but then some squads that like we've never even casted before going toe-to-toe. What's that like for you as a commentator to try and watch these brand new squads and see how they can hang with the very established teams?
So if I'm being honest, there are a number of times that there's a new team that I don't know. Subconsciously, I just count them out. But the amount of times that I've been surprised by a new team coming in, and even if they aren't able to come in and take the entire thing, there's always a chance for an underdog moment, always a chance for a dark horse to come in and upset the standings in some significant way. And so that's really what I think a lot of us are going to be looking for watching these games. Sure, they're the heavy hitters that we all know and love, but how are they going to be able to deal with these new faces? Because they're not just new to us, they're new to all the players here as well. Sometimes they don't even know how they're going to react in the game, and that could just throw them for a complete loop.
Yeah, I think that's something that we keep an eye on, because a lot of the time to qualify for the ladder finals, you're just grinding out matches. You're playing. But once you're finally in the lobby and you have 5 matches to make it happen, you're so used to, I guess, to just the randomness of where you're going to drop. Now you have to plan where you're dropping, figure out points, who drops where. You know, do you hot drop in game 3, in game 4, in game 5? Once you add all these wrinkles in there, it creates a different environment that a lot of these newer teams aren't used to. Whereas when you have a team like Nova, you have a team like Knights, those players are used to that type of environment. So it's a great mixture of, I guess, kind of the savvy veteran strategy and also this nativity of these new teams that just want to go and frag out.
Oh, 100%. And I think it'll really show, especially in these first couple games, because as we go through the map rotation, which teams have sort of been making notes of where other squads drops over the course of the last week in particular. We may see some spicy starts to these games, which of course can impact the way these points unfold. If you're just joining us for the first time, not sure how the points all work, we do have our scoring breakdown. 1 point per kill, of course, being a big thing to keep in mind. Oh, this is we got the whole thing, which is fantastic. Excellent. Yes, we've had 8 weeks of gameplay over the course of the Mobile Open so far. You get randomized into groups every single week. You play multiple days a week, and this is where we are now. This top 16 situation. 5 games today to determine all the marbles in Cam. This is how they score their points.
Yeah, you get points for every single round that you play, assuming that you do good, because if you don't place higher than 13th place, you will get 0 points. But also kills are worth 1 point apiece. So do not forget that you actually have to deal damage to your opponents if you want a good chance at taking this series. And remember, there are only 5 games. So oftentimes, it can be the difference between getting first place or second place that can make a huge difference here.
Right, and over the evolution of the multiple different scoring formats that we've had in both PUBG PC and PUBG Mobile, this is definitely one where kills are worth a lot more. If you are on the outside and you do get messed up by the zone early on, if you pick off 2 teams and pick up 8 points in a game where you had no business picking up any points, that might be the major difference between qualifying high and qualifying outside the top 3.
Yeah, and if we look back to, past PMPL seasons come to mind, teams sort of had 1 or 2, I guess, strategies that really sort of occurred if you lost 1 or 2 players early in a scrap. If you got picked off in a rotation, we either see teams go all out, try and crash another squad, try and get those 4 points if they could to try and make up for that deficit, or teams go the other direction. They hyper snake it. They go super passive. They creep in behind, sit on the edge, soak out in the blue, depending on what map it is in particular. And that's really, I think, is that more of the veteran strategy? Are these new teams going to look for more of that frag-heavy play? Well, that's the question we're going to have to ask ourselves as we head. Look, we got a lot of questions. And we're going to get some answers. We're going to head to a short break. When we come back, right into the action with game number 1. Back in a few.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first game of the ESL Mobile Open Fall North America Ladder 1 Finals. Degon and Cameron Davis on the mic as we take off here in a east to west plane path on Erangel.
Yeah, and it's a pretty northern east to west plane path, so anyone that wants to go down to military base or even the more southern areas of the main island, such as Primorsk or Milta Power, Milta itself, are gonna have a long distance to travel. And we talked about it just before this game started, that this initial drop can be incredibly important. We're only looking at 5 games. You want to make sure your early game is going to be as clean as it can be for every single round played.
Right, it's such an important part for these new teams. And everyone in the lobby, to be honest, just kind of getting used to each other, jostling for position, who's going to go where, and something like this, as you said, kind of effectively taking away a third of the map with military base, unless you pull your chute early and you're just going to float all the way there. Teams are going to be bumping into each other, and I love finding out who bumps into each other early on, as we have a relatively central circle, a little bit more eastern coverage there. A bit of military base if a team did want to go loot Millie and then head back on over. But generally, we're not going to get too much rotational action other than the 2 teams over in the northwest as we have ourselves an early knock.
Yeah, already someone got taken out. But you mentioned it. We might be seeing people butt heads super early in this game. Only one team actually landed north, and that's going to be the team going around Zarki. And there's a lot of teams that are going to be around this prison area, lumberyard area, north of Milta. I'm really curious how many of them are going to commit here, because especially when you look towards that east coast, there aren't that many lootable positions available. And I'm seeing a huge gap on the west side of just available land that is loot that's not going to get picked up this entire game. So we could see even more knocks, even more damage before the first circle even closes.
Yeah, you look at Primorsk, you look at the Pier, Gatka, might get looted up there by last, but it seems like teams will just kind of hover around, and we're going to have a pretty scrappy eastern part of the map. The teams that rotate in late, hopefully if they don't run into each other, will be well kitted for any battles and should be going with all 4 members as we get things kicked off here. So 2 players have been knocked early on here. One has already been finished off. One is knocked. I think they got ran over and being left for dead right now. We'll lock into that one as soon as we go full screen here. No teams seem to be right on top of each other. Maybe a little bit in Yasnaya. You got 2 teams in Yas, but that's a pretty big city for them to be over around each other. And now a little bit more action here. Where are we? By farm.
Yeah, this is where one of that knock happened. I believe that was one member of K1 that went down. I believe that's a revive that came through, however. Oh no, that was a full confirm. Looking at 62 alive overall. So MMX Thrasher is running away from that. They did the damage. The team has that kill, and they're not going to overcommit it because these 2 teams, they still need to get their loot on. We've seen all this action early on, and you got to remember, this is still the early game. You can't be so distracted by dealing a little bit of damage to an opponent that you forget about the end game. You forget about collecting all those resources. And so that's what Thrasher is going to be doing from now on.
Yeah, this is 9K and Thrasher, part of Mixed Mafia. So coming into the tournament, we showed the scoreboards, we showed the teams that had qualified on in, but we had 2 teams that weren't able to continue. Both of them with roster changes that led to disbanding of their teams. And so Mixed Mafia placed, I believe, 18th, 17th or 18th, or the next team on up to be able to qualify here for the finals. So Mixed Mafia were waiting in the wings and now have their opportunity to make a dent here in the finals of ladder number 1 as they're able to loot up and kind of hang around. And it seems like they're hanging around. Who is that? Which K team is that they're next to?
SK1, yeah. So they rotated away from Central Farm, and they actually were able to slide in south of MMX's position here. Neo's been watching over them. He has been doing a lot of looting, but he's just been giving space and information for the rest of his team to try and pick things up. They probably have a few little goodies in their bags for him. Sends out a couple of shots, but is not going to commit. In fact, got to go grab that buggy because those tires could get popped if it's in a wrong angle, a wrong position.
Yep, saw that. Instead of just hiding the tires, he's going to hide his whole self and turn tail and head kind of towards the same direction as his team. I guess he's continuing to scout around and make sure that there's space for them to commit to. Yeah, he'll clear out this house. No door open. Sounds good. And they're off, and no worries here for Mixed Mafia, our team that slides on in. The other team that slid on in was Noobs Esports Mexico. That was the other team that were able to make it on into the tournament based off the fact that a couple of our teams weren't able to make it on. And the two teams that didn't qualify, or I guess disbanded before the tournament, were Sky Brothers and Tarn Turan. And we were hearing Glitter and Paul talk about Tarn Turan, a very fun team to watch, but now make way for Noobs Esports Mexico, which is one of the great things that I love about the Mobile Open, how it is now expanded to all of North America. So anytime we get the Latin American teams represented here, the Mexican teams represented, showcases how the region is continuing to grow in PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, for sure. Over here, we're going to take a quick look, a quick glance at 4-piece. Oh, actually, never mind. Let's go over to Russell, who's got knocked. Found himself in a very, very tricky situation here. No teammates around to pick him up, so that's going to be a free kill. I believe that's going to go over to Admiral across the way. Yes, indeed, Admiral is going to be collecting that one, and the rest of the Knights, they're going to figure out, one, how they're going to manage the rest of this game as 3, but also how that happened in the first place. What went wrong in their early game that caused a death?
Yeah, overall esports picking up an extra point, coming in ranked 4th based off of the latter regular season. And it wouldn't be a Mobile Open or any sort of North American game without a Russell. I just didn't expect it so early on in the finals here with Russell. Normally the scout for this team has pulled off some crazy plays on Knights in all the teams he's been on, but this time getting caught out and punished by Admiral. But with that information that Russell was able to give on over, here come the Knights now peppering the window that Admiral's in, and Admiral doesn't have a lot of backup quite yet. Good return fire, though. Catches Chico.
I was really worried. We saw the angle that Admiral was holding, and that was all in the line of sight from the rest of the Knights, but fortunately for Admiral, he doesn't get knocked, only taken down to half HP. And now the rest of the Knights' position has been given away, and they're also distracted. Here's a team crossing from the bridge, swinging in from the north.
Yeah, I believe that was Ornata coming on through, and the Knights are like, wait a second, I think there's a squad behind him, and then there's a squad crossing the bridge. Something's not adding up with the numbers, and in the kill feed, that's Admiral's teammates getting fourth partied by Star. Star's coming on in right now and starting to put some pressure behind Overhaul Esports.
I mean, we talked about fighting in the early game because of how crowded this area might be, and it surely has lived up to that expectation. To Nathan here, healing on up, and that's a good damage, a good knock there from a grenade. They're trying to break into this whole building. But Russ, different Russ, is knocked, bleeding out on the ground, and Admiral here is in a very rough situation because he is the one caught between the Knights and Star, who are pushing in from the east side.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Third party in the first circle is clearing things out right now. And All-Star Star X, that's their name, All-Star Star X, putting the pressure on Overhaul Esports, and Knights trying to get some revenge back. But now Chico gets knocked by Admiral, so Knights now down to 2. Admiral's doing work, holding off the whole backside by himself, but another nade by the All-Stars comes on in. And it seems like Overhaul might have bit off a little bit more. Stealth able to pick up the kill there. Now getting popped, and he had the nade in his hands, but the team goes on in. Tunathan, with the best name in the game, clears out the house. And now Overhaul Esports starting to get pinched, and Admiral is all alone.
I like how Knights are pushing in onto this. Alucard there, off on the angle, still on the hill, but here comes an incendiary, and of course the final shot's coming on in, so Admiral goes down. That's the entirety of Overhaul Esports taken out, but will Knights and Star continue this fight that they have, well, started, I would say? Looks like Reynolds is trying to back off. Smoke coming out into play, perhaps for a little bit of a retreat.
Yeah, look at that movement by Rettles. He jumps over the wall, spins around, prones, trying to make sure he could see behind him.
Wait, your teammate.
Yeah, they're just
Wait, your teammate.
Oh, nope, they're not going to just leave because he left his teammate, has to hop back in, takes a little bit of damage. Will it be the downfall of him? No, he's able to get away. Alucard, Rettles, and the rest of the guys able to get on out. Only person gone is Russell, who started this whole mess. Only one kill there for Knights, that long distance clear up of Alucard. So a huge win here for All-Stars Star X for clearing out most of Overhaul Esports.
Hey, but still, even only getting one kill, I liked how Knights approached this position. They didn't overextend and get really, really greedy for those kill points themselves. The name of the game here was just remove that team from the server, because that's one next step towards starting to collect those placement points. And now that they're gone, this rotation into closer towards the center is going to be a lot easier for them.
Yeah, pretty central circle, so not a lot of heavy rotations by any of these teams by any means, but it does seem like most teams will still continue to move as... Watch out here.
Okay.
Kit, he's just hiding. This has to be a bait. Neo has to know he's here, right? He's just driving in a circle.
Yeah, he's just doing laps. He's doing loop-de-loop, so... I don't know if he knows that Keto is right in this particular position, but he is definitely pulling bait maneuvers to try and get shot at from some angle and give his team the information. The rest of Keto's team, however, is on the northern ridge that could have a nice sightline onto Mixed Mafia's position, Mixed Mafia's angle.
With the way that the zone is centering up, I feel like there aren't a ton of there aren't a ton of cities here, and I feel like this is what a lot of our gameplay is going to be. It's going to be these hills, maybe a little bit of dips, as Druidas starting to get first blood here on Mixed Mafia. They get a knockdown on Neo, who was the one doing the donuts earlier. Wow, look at this circle pop down over by Farm and a lot of water. So now the teams will have to be jostling for position for these bigger cities, these bigger buildings.
Yeah, the water, we didn't think too much of it on Circle 1, but it stayed in play, and now it's in play in a major way. That's about 40% of the circle that is water, and I'm going to include that little lip of the military base as water, because that's not a playable area in this circle anyway, so it's all going to be figuring out where you can play around Farmer. There are a number of compounds on that southern ridge, but here it is still going to be that fight over towards the north part of Farm, that north hill that slopes down towards that area. And here comes more teams. If you're looking on the map, it's going to be Knights and Star that are pushing in from the north. This could change the tides of battle for better or for worse for the two teams that we're looking at now.
Yeah, it's going to be a fiesta here. In just a second, you could see the Knights on our map just kind of driving on through Druidas. Trying to finish off Neo. Neo was kind of left in no man's land. It does seem that Neo will be picked up, and Druidas not... You know, they're not getting aggressive there, and also that's the second time we've seen a player hop in the car, miss it, and then drop and create this weird situation as Druidas now following along and will chill out in this small camp as they kind of, I guess, regroup themselves.
Wait, who got that second kill onto the Mixed Mafia? I was about to compliment Doritos for holding strong, getting Keto out of that situation, partly because of Mixed Mafia's aggressive push that got punished. That could have been from a different team up on the northern side. We did see like one or two solo players perhaps around that area, or also maybe he could have just got revived. I missed that in the kill feed. But over here we're looking more towards the south. This is on the bridge itself, or just above it. And Nova, they look at this spread by them. This is a greedy split this late into the game. But hey, these are the big dogs coming into the server. They had the most points leading into this grand final by a large margin, and they are going to prove to everyone that they can play as aggressive, as greedy as possible.
Just as you say it, G-Fan, the superstar of North America, picks up a kill, or picks up a knock on the Knights. It was Chico getting punished there. Is able to get picked up by Rettles, but Alucard split off from the rest of his team, so Rettles and Chico on the other side, and doesn't feel great when the team that's shooting at you is Nova. But Nova now has a lot of eyes on them, right? They've got the team to the north, which are the Knights. They have the team to the west, who were aiming in on them there. I believe that's K1. And so Nova kind of in this like, hey, we've got a prime prime real estate, but everyone knows that's prime real estate, so everyone's going to be looking at it.
There's a crate that's dropping in the water. If you look on the map, I wonder if a team like VT are going to be curious about its contents. Surprising that there's only...
What?
Oh, sorry, there's
What?
still 52 alive. What?
That circle's more than 50% water. What is
That
this?
circle's like 70, 80% water.
This
Good
is
luck.
bad math.
I have no clue. There's 52 alive right now. We're about to cut that in half.
No, I bet you. All right, what do you want to wager? How many? I bet 30 go down in this one, more than half.
Nah. 30 go down. Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah, we're
seems
going to
somewhat
22.
reasonable. I'll say 35. I think it's going to be a little more than that because I am not confident on how many areas of cover there are in Sharkfin.
All right, well, on the rotation where Knights, they get knocked down by G-Fan and the boys as there's only one member left. Oh, long distance shots, nice return, and that's the power of Rin as Trash gets to say hello to Rin's bullets. Rin says, I don't like you shooting at my team. Thank you very much.
Good collapse by Nova here. One of the mini compounds that they had invested in is just barely inside the circle. Another in a strong position to try and kneecap people, to close design individuals wanting to rotate in. It's not going to be a great position in the circle as far as position, like actual literal positioning goes, but if they keep 4 up, they can continue to fight in once they clear out their backside, once they stop the backfilling from happening. But it's actually going to be Ventrue here that are trying to beat from this close towards the center, but they keep getting knocked.
Yeah, that's Danny getting knocked down. Vitality just getting, or I guess Ventrue getting a close look at the international veterans of Nova. Nova, again, calm, cool, and collected because you could see right there in the minimap, they're on the edge. They know everyone that's outside has to run into them. And knowing that there's 70% water in this zone, there are not a lot of places for people to go. Prime real estate for Nova, blessed by the Circle Gods. Rin trying to get shots on the vehicle, crossing, not quite able to land it. As Doritos make the crazy rotation there and don't get punished.
We're already starting to see some people relegated to water play. No space left on land, and now it's just going to be fishing with dynamite here. Easy can't find one.
Oh.
I believe that's a scout actually in the water to find the exact location of the swimmers.
That is
No one's
awesome.
gone for the crate.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's too scared. Everyone's too scared to go for the crate right now. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the north, 5 if you count last in there, last one. And it's just going to be a hectic rush. And if you head on over to the northeast, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in that area. But I think 3 of those teams are just stragglers. You got Reddles holding on there for Knights, just kind of crawling his way on into the zone.
Still seeing a lot of stuff happen in the kill feed naturally. But yeah, that map revealed just how many teams, just how many players were still outside the circle, not just on the east side, but also on the north. They're going to have some amazing openings here. Ooh, that's one down for K1. Yeah, they're going to hope for a revive onto that.
Scout. Here it is, Ventrue with Trash taking a peek. Again, he had his head knocked off earlier. Just seeing if he can pick up a little bit of points here on the 4-piece boys. From the distance, landing some shots. You could see the Dior for holding them in the other angle as well. Oh, getting some damage down, but the blues coming on in. And yeah, K1 just getting damaged out right now. Not in a great spot.
Yeah, you can see even on the minimap where the next circle has gone, there's still a bunch of water in play here. Not quite as much as 70%, but there is a good amount. It's like here on the northwest side, Stranger getting shot from the east, forced to push back over towards where he and the rest of his squad, or at least what remains, are just trying to heal up as well as finish off their neighbors here of Noob.
Yeah, this is Noob Esports Mexico again, trying to work their way on into the zone. I like this
good
spread by
shots.
last one. Great shots there by Stranger, and you want to get yourself in the zone if you're last one, but you have to clear behind you, and Stranger's going to make that decision again. Gets into a dip. Now he's in line with the rest of his team. As we flip back on over to the Nova boys, They're having a lot of work. Nades coming on in as they're pushing on into Ventru, who have been shooting at them from this barn for quite some time.
Yeah, I think Nova was hoping to deal a little more damage before they were forced to go into this circle, because now you can see they're rolling up to that wall there on the east of this compound, but they're having to worry about a potential team onto the other side of them. But they got inside a building. They have some hard cover. G-Friend's trying to make it rain onto his opponents with bullets, that is. And they have the high ground now. This is going to give them a great angle to potentially finish off Mixed Mafia.
Man, what a... If you're Ventru right now, you're like, wow, what a fight. Also, who is this that just snuck on in here? This is Vigelsin. Vigelsin is a different team than the other team that is holding this area. So 3 teams now in the 2 barns.
Yeah, and of course going to be 9K, who's trying to crawl in from the east. I don't think his chances are going to be that high. He's cresting over a ridge in just a few moments. Should be spotted out by Nova. But yeah, this is just a single player from One Shot MX. Where I think have a couple of different players all in this area.
Oh, there we go. Knock there by Ventru's Lucky. So they're willing to take the fight. Nade goes on over. Was it cooked correctly? No, was not. Rin was able to get revived. Second nade. No. Third nade. The second nade missed. No one saw that one. Third nade. Gets on in there. Smoke goes on up, but those nades not going to be quite as effective here. But Ventru holding their ground, saying, hey, we got here first. We don't care about your pedigree or your international play. You got to fight us here.
Again, peep the circle. Lot of open area. For the teams that are already in this compound, they're not going to have to move all that much. And so I think a lot of the attention, a lot of the action is going to be on the north side, where last one still able to keep a lot of their members alive. In fact, all 4 are still up. They're going to have to move in. You see that they're trying to spot where they can even go. It is just open sand, open beach between them and the compound that have already fit in arguably too many teams that should reasonably be fit inside.
Oh, but Stranger, he gets a pretty clean line on in and didn't get shot up, didn't get blown up by any of the teams that have been looking at each other in the farmyard. They do get shot from behind by Druidus. You can see it in the distance. They do lose one. Forgiven goes down and is finished off. Feng Piao gets taken down as well, but 2 make it on through. Not too bad for Swan, or Svan. And Svan, with an AWM, has an opportunity to pick up a couple more points from distance if any of these teams trying to rotate on in and can use the blue to help them out.
There's still one more team outside of the circle. They're going to be coming in from the north. Over here, still 4 up. Open the door, sending some shots through. Not going to land on their target just yet, but it's just about keeping their opponents uncomfortable. War of attrition here. Grenade gets sent out. They're not going to be able to secure any knocks just yet.
Yeah, 8 teams in this small compound. It's kind of crazy how, again, just Ventru were just like, yep, we're going to hold this one. Nova said, we'll take this spot. And then One Shot Mexico sneaks on in with Vigelsin and Dat Mastner like, okay, yeah, you guys can focus on each other. We'll just hide in your attic. And since the nades were used so much earlier, it's not going to be very easy to flush anyone out from distance. I feel like you're going to have to throw up a smoke nade or a flashbang and do it the old-fashioned way.
4P's now crawling in. If someone looks this direction, they're going to be spotted.
Oh, my gosh.
But they're being low and slow and quiet.
Oh, no. Oh,
Can't
no.
outcrawl the blue. No, you want to take a little bit of damage. It's not worth it to stand up. Hold the line. Oh, he can't make it. Oh, no. He needs to get up. He needs to get up for the last moment. Get to the buggy and then prone down. Oh, no. He's spotted. Close to salvation, but that's going to be 4P's going down. Now 16 alive, 7 teams. And the circle centers up on the compound. We're still looking at a few teams that have been hanging out in the water. Now is their time to beach. And can they make it work?
That was awesome. Oh, yeah, Vitality have been living on the edge there. So is Rush It for our team that we followed at the very beginning. Rush It just hanging out, seeing if he can get that one extra point before he goes on in. Circle will be popping in 20 seconds. And it's just, you gotta pop your head up for a little bit of breath there if you're Chica. Yeah. Get your shots. And there it is. And so Rush It able to pick up another point, 4 points there for them, plus another placement point as we're now down to 6 teams. Rush It, one of the final solos that we have because we got all these teams here. Rin with a good nade and able to get a kill and a knock. So Danny goes down. And now they're going to cook it. Juan G, he was the one that was able to pick up the lone 4-piece player. Will get picked up. It doesn't look like the Molly's going to catch him. Quan Yu is knocked currently for Nova. No revive quite yet.
Yeah, it just comes up. HCL is well holding the line, letting that revive come on and play.
Oh.
A little bit of information gathering, perhaps. Trash here, crawling around. Teammate. Okay, all right. That's some information. Are they going to peek back out? They're going to go for the fight? Lucky gets taken out. It's up to Trash to swing around and try and trade his teammate. Trying hard to find the angle, but it's going to be Z-Fan from the side, peeking out of the window. Curious Neighbor to find that kill. That's 9 kills so far for Nova, and they're trying to pick up more. Then make it 10. Let's go double digits.
10. Oh, yeah, and he got both of those kills. So the noisy, I guess, addict mates of One Shot Mexico are the ones that got the knocks there, but don't get the points. Quan Yu knocked again, now getting shot from distance. And G-Fan not able to lock onto that one, forced to heal on up after getting knocked out of first aid kits here. So just bandages for Nova. 2 down now as Quan Yu was out on the backside trying to scout out, I guess, and gets caught out instead. Last one, just hanging out and hearing all this action. Yeah, maybe we'll get some placement points. So we've got 2, 2, 4, 1. That's what we have here in terms of the team compositions, team numbers left. This is Ornata.
Oh, no. I was about to say Splash actually did a really good job dealing that damage to Nova, which, because it forced them onto the revive, it gave him a potential opportunity to try and crawl in, but it was an angle from a completely different team from last one that was going to be his demise. But still a 4th place finish for him and his squad. But now we're looking at the top 3. Nova still have 4 up, but they've got knocked a few times in the past couple of minutes. And so those bleed timers are going to be something that hopefully the teams that they've been keeping track of the kill feed should be aware of, but Nova absolutely need to keep that in mind when they go for these engagements.
All right, you see Svan, he took off the backpack. It's serious time. No ammo. This is a one-way trip now as Nova using the wall of smokes to flank around. They know where last one is. They have an idea of where One Shot Mexico is with Vigilzine and Datmos. And it looks like Datmos trying to force their way on in, but the flank comes through from Nova, so no damage dealt. As Nova now just trying to clear out the last team here, but 1 kill so far. Datmos trying to get into a fight. The drop shot on the HCL lands, and Datmos has a little bit time here to heal on up first aid. He has 4. But Vigilzine has been knocked. They know where the team is as Rin has a bead on him, does finish off the teammate. So Datmos in a 1v2 with HCL still giving over some information. Nade will go wide by Datmos. He does not know where Rin is. Gets to the vehicle safely, picks up the kill. G-Fan is down. Is this a 1v1? Yes, it is. Rin has the opportunity to be the hero. Datmos trying to land a nade. Not too bad. He's burning. Rin's down. Why 1v1 there by the One Mexico member, Datmos. He picks up the kill, picks up the win as the Noisy Neighbor. Remember, this is the team that came to the barnyard and were able to take the attic. And I was like, hey, this can't be anything bad. They're just going to get a couple placement points. They take the whole thing.
They do, and it's because, I'm pretty sure it's because he found those last few pieces of utility on the dead Nova body right next to him. The fact that he's able to make it to that Jeep, there was a loot box, a death box right next to him, able to re-up on those utility, and that was really his only win condition is those grenades, because in a straight peek battle, HCL had the hillside to use to just peek up and over while third-party cameraing towards that way. So really that land of the incendiary was his one win condition, and he nails it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that, just those last 3 teams, right? Obviously, Nova worked their way on in. They were like, hey, we're going to take this compound. You guys over at Ventru, you're going to take that one. Leave us alone. And then you take a look at last one. Remember, last one, we're stuck on the outside on the west. They had Druidas behind them shooting them. The zone was pushing on in. They sent it on in, and they lost 2 in that rotation on in. But the fact that no one shot at them and blew them all up was surprising. They kept themselves a 3rd place finish. And then again, One Shot Mexico, huge victory in a way that was effectively a 4v2 because all of G-Fan's boys on Nova were able to get the wraparound on last one, not lose anyone, but weren't quite able to lock on in to the last members of One Shot. That was a huge victory there to kick things off in our Ladder 1 finals. Paul and Glitter will break down all of the action from that last game after short break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the ESL Mobile Open.
Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open PUBG Mobile Ladder 1 Finals. I'm Glitter Explosion, of course. I'm joined by Invirum, and that was a doozy of our first game. Okay, we have so many things to talk about here, Invirum, but first, can we start with the zone, please?
That was toxic. It was mostly water for most of the game. And eventually it was like, we want a beach day. We're going to start things off. We're going to go to the beach. It's like 100 degrees outside. That checks out, in my humble opinion. No, that was fantastic. I mean, teams were posed with a lot of questions that they had to answer. And the teams that made early moves to secure the hard cover to take over the compounds were certainly rewarded. But something we kind of predicted setting this all up, Glitter, was the idea that teams may not necessarily be 100% aware of where the other squads were dropping, which would result in a lot of early action, which we got.
We most certainly did see some recognizable names going down, I think, a little bit earlier than maybe we would have initially, anticipated. But it's only game one. That's fine. Okay, there's still many games to be had. Recovery is most definitely possible. But outside of that, once the circle shrank down and we got towards, that late game moment, I mean, we talked about Nova potentially being a powerhouse to be reckoned with, and this first game was a very strong indication of that up until those very final moments.
Yeah, I mean, again, they did a great job of taking over that compound early on in the process. They were rewarded. The circle did favor them, like 3 times in a row going into Circle 8. But again, it's moments like this when GFan was able to capitalize on the chaos that the other teams were creating, getting them up to 10 kills in this situation. They were coming in so strong. I mean, props to the last one for surviving as long as they did. But really, it came down to one-shot Mexico. Datmas, like the pickup he was able to get here using the blue, huge. But this is the moment. Rin hesitated, looked to try and get the revive, let Datmas make that crossing, and then the molly came in. They were forced out. GFan honestly just baited his own teammate there. If he'd been focused on just playing the 1v1, I think it would have been a different story. But one shot, able to capitalize and able to get this first chicken dinner. Great play from them, upsetting Nova Esports, who was on an absolute tear. I wouldn't be surprised if Nova is still #1 in the leaderboards just because of how many kills they picked up, but still, great play to start things off from one shot. And yes, that is the case. They finished with 13 kills. Oh no.
See, what's crazy though is that, I mean, 13 kills, that's insane, but huge shout out to One Shot because the extra placement points that they netted themselves there has them only 3 points behind Nova right now. And after the first game with that aggressive of a performance from Nova, keeping the lead that small by One Shot is massive for not only One Shot, but literally everybody else right now. I mean, last one is there in 3rd place with 15 points, so you can see things start to drop off a little bit there in the top 8. God, that was just a really, really solid way to kick everything off.
Yeah, well, if you're one of the teams in the first place and the first page,
true.
That's for sure. Here. A little rough on the second side. Overall, able to pick up that 1 point, so decent for them. Knights though, 12th place. And we don't have enough games here for you to have a slow start. Looking for them to pick things up. Immortal NA as well. Another one of these squads we consistently saw with top placements over the last 4 weeks. So I'm looking for them to step up their game going into game number 2 as well, which of course will be over on Miramar. So a bit of a different change of pace, though. In recent months, I'd say the last year, it has really sped up. It's not sort of the quiet early game as much that we kind of knew to come and expect there, Glitter. But I'm interested to see if teams are going to maintain that early aggression or if they're going to slow things down a touch now that they have a sense of how their opponents are playing.
See, they have that sense, but like you guys were talking about, there is still the factor of not necessarily knowing where everybody's going to be, and they might have figured that out for the first map, but now we're instantly changing it up on them. So we're throwing them into Miramar. Things are going to be a little bit different. Obviously, very large map too. That might change some decision making for some of our teams and our players, but like you were saying, there's not a whole lot of time for teams to get those points on the board. So you can't afford to maybe either try anything too crazy or start off too slowly, especially when you have a team like the Knights that has a little bit of a rough start. They're going to need to pick it up here. They're going to be looking for those points.
Yeah, and it's this tightrope. It's this knife's edge that you have to walk as one of these teams because you have to play just aggressive enough in the early game to put yourself in a position to pick up those points. If you get a full squad wipe for one player, most teams consider that to be a positive trade. But at the same time, if you lose more than one, if you don't confirm the whole enemy team, suddenly not only have you given away your position, you've opened up more of the potential to get third-partied, but you've given up resources that you're now no longer going to have. We constantly see time and again the team that is able to maintain all 4 players alive into those, 7, 8, 9 circle. Those are the ones that are more likely than not going to walk away with the chicken dinner. So it's all about the scale. It's all about the battle, the balancing act. How, much are you going to play for the early game? Try and pick up those kills when you've got more time and space to work with before you're going to get third-partied versus playing a little more passively and going for those placement points. That's a BR in a nutshell. And we'll see how the teams are going to play it out because I'm getting word they're just about ready to go into game number 2, which means it's time for us to head to a short break and back to the action.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open North American Fall Ladder 1 Finals. It's game number 2 as we head on over to Miramar after One Mexico pulls off the victory. But as expected, Nova Esports pulls off the first place based off of their kill points and their placement points. Will they be able to continue that run? We'll find out. Degon here with Cameron Davis. This plane path looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad, similar to the previous game. Very southern, very much on the south. If you're trying to go north, good luck. I wouldn't necessarily recommend pulling your chute early. Rather, try and fight for one of the vehicle spawns and make your way north that way. And ooh, you're gonna have to go that way anyway, because that's where Circle 1's gonna be. But for now, it looks like, once again, a lot of teams are dropping in similar locations. This time, I believe that might be 4 teams around Los Leones. Last one looks like they're gonna head further south, which is definitely the right play for them. But that's still at least, nope, that's still 4 teams in Los Leones.
Yeah, 4 teams in Los Leones. And you've got Nova that's just going to go around the edge as well. So just kind of like 6 teams in that southeastern area. But even if you look down south towards Valle del Mar, that still looks like 1, 2. Okay, it's just 2 teams down over in that area as well. So not as bad as I originally had thought. It's because some of these teams, they don't all have the same clan tag names. And that's another one of the great things about Mobile Open. It's the opportunity to try out with some of these players on your roster. Some teams don't just carry 4 players. They have 5 players. They have the substitute. And they're rotating on in to figure out what the best roster is for their squad. One team that doesn't have any confusion on who's and what's team. It's the Knights. All these guys, vets of the North American PUBG Mobile scene. Hopefully we won't see Russell go down so early on this one. We had a sad Russell.
One thing that the Knights do still seem to be confused about is where they can find their loot, because they are pushed towards like the slums, the outskirts of Los Leones. There's not a lot of buildings, not a lot of compounds, warehouses, whatever, for them to even find loot necessary to perform well in this game. Alucard, in fact, is actually having to go all the way on top of these silos to try and find something, anything. Yeah, at least going north, they don't have to go through the other teams in Los Leones. They can just detach themselves pretty easily. But the loot is something I'm going to be very, very worried about. Redl seems to have a good number of meds at the very least. So maybe I'm over-exaggerating the dire straits that they may or may not actually be in.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty accurate. Plus, you had 4 piece right there. Yeah, I guess if they wanted to get aggressive, they could have peeked on down a little bit earlier. As we see OP Raffy. He's just going to hang out, though. Raffy's just chilling.
Yeah, there's another team close to them as well. So he's definitely just trying to make sure that they're not getting over-aggressed on. But DRS here. They're currently looting up. They don't seem to be too worried. They actually have a lot of Los Leones split between themselves, so they should have more than enough gear to play through in this game. The question is, are they going to be able to get into the circle safely? Because they know that there are teams to the north of them. But the next best scenario would be going to the east. But we saw that's where Nova dropped. And if Nova are deciding to play gatekeepers once again and hang out on that east highway, that could be obviously a trap for anyone.
They talked about it on the analyst desk, Paul and Glitter did, about how Miramar has evolved over the last several years since its release, to be honest. Miramar used to be such a slow map. Hey, we're going to load up. It's an 8x8 map in terms of its size, and everyone can kind of just catch some teams out on rotations as they drive through the valleys and the hills. That hasn't been the case specifically in PUBG Mobile over the last year, maybe like 10 months. It feels like teams have been, yep, I'm looted up, let's go find a team, crash on into them, and then you find a longer time to reset. It felt like how Sandhawk is played where, oh, someone's fighting, crash on in, except there's a period where you're able to reset afterwards because the map is so big and you might get caught in rotation trying to crash something else.
Yeah, there's no reset period in Sandhawk, but we'll see what happens when we get to that map coming up next. Right now, Star taking some shots at a rotating team. Not going to stick around because there could be more coming their way. Wants to get behind cover, wants to get into a place of safety. Not to mention protecting those tires because the guys that he just shot at, they have the high ground. Now looking at K1. San Martin West Side. Mixed Mafia. So a lot of teams here are in their rotation. And because of how south the plane was, because of how south a lot of the teams landed, we're going to be seeing a lot of this sort of leapfrog scouting style where a team sees another one in front of them. You can either choose to engage them or delay your own rotation, let them get further ahead of you so you can have a safer push in yourself. But it's going to be very, very reactionary.
Oh, no crazy car antics quite yet here as we follow along. The climbing here with NT of Masterly. We didn't get to talk about Masterly. I think we talked about almost all the teams in our first map over on Erangel, but we didn't really chat about Masterly at all. I don't remember. I can't recall where they dropped at, when they went out. So here's our first look here at Masterly on the stream with their squad. It's Pure's, Golden, NT, and Tetax here. He's the sub for the squad.
Yeah, well, I can tell you it wasn't a terrible game. They got 4 points, 3 kills, 1 placement point, but it's not great. They're in a position, hopefully for them, to pick up a bunch of points here, but it's definitely a lot better than going in with 0. I think if you want to have a really good showing in a series of 5 games, you're allowed 1 game that you get like 4 points or fewer. So they're not out of it. They just need to perform better for each game here on out. Okay, a little bit of a jump, a little bit of air on the Murado. But that should be an easy rotation for them going forward. What might not be an easy rotation is what we have right in front of us. New EZ here. K1. Potentially setting a trap for Ventru Inc.
Yeah, Lucky, Juan G. We saw them make some good plays there within that barnyard area, but now, it's because they're setting a trap on someone else. It's the Knights getting caught in a rotation here. Alucard pretty far up in the vehicles. It looks like the vehicle directions are wrapping around. Will they decide to keep on going? Yes, they will. They are sending a pronged attack against this squad that seems stuck behind a bus. Lucky just going to throw out some smokes, and here come the bullets.
One is already knocked. That's going to be full confirmed there, not giving them a moment to consider the revive. But Lucky's trying to go big, finds the angle, but he's getting shot from the side. Actually shot from his own smoke. What? How was he able to get that? Able to secure it. Attention considered back on to Chico's, but no, he's going to prone back down, healed on up. Now he can get loud once again.
Using the Tommy, Lucky trying to peek over these weeds here. Chico switches weapons, goes to the M4, finds the kill. Will he be able to get the revive? Here comes the vehicle to run on through. Will heal himself first. Reddles still has a lot of time, so the team will be able to get him up. But man, Knights, early action yet again, and that one almost went really bad for them.
Now you can see Circle 2, it centers on up and where all these teams are fighting for anyway, which is a good thing because it means that they're not going to have to move, but it could be bad because more teams might be putting their attention this way. So all these teams here are going to really want to stabilize their position. Knights in particular want to get inside cover. Here, Stranger grenading on in, trying to find their own position. This isn't even in the circle, I don't think. This is outside the circle on the south, but they're fighting for the kill points.
Yeah, this is near La Bendita outside of Los Leones. They're right next to each other. And they have a couple of kills already. Last one. The Stranger will rotate himself out. They took control of the house and now are peeking to see if any lurkers come around. Oh, there we go. Now has visuals of it. So last one need to decide. Right now they've got a couple of teammates outside of the city and one that's stuck smack dab in the middle of 4 players.
Running around, finding the angles, really getting a surround like sheepdogs, but bit of an overextension, over peak, and that's going to be punished. Last one gets one knocked against them. It's going to be a full confirm attempt here by Rush. Good maneuvering around the wall is Pro, giving Forgiven an opportunity to try and trade. They still haven't secured the kill, and here come the other members of Last One, swooping on in, but that's Svan going down. Star doing a really good job defending their position.
Yeah, All-Stars Star X. This is the second early game fight we've seen them engage in. They did it in Erangel. Rush it, roaming around the silence. Uzi is the deadliest one. 3 knocked here for Last One. No one down yet for All-Star Star X. Will they get all 4? No, not quite yet, but they'll pick up the points. It's just Forgiven on his own. Trying to get the pre-fire there. Getting shot from behind, now has to do the 180, gets one. The other one's damaged pretty well here. Forgiven, trying to get two. No drop shot to be had. The heals will come through. And All-Star StarX clear out a squad yet again. What a start for this squad.
Listen, Forgiven had a noble stand at the end, dealing a lot of damage, and there was the possibility of maybe even getting the entire Force squad. But yeah, Star X here, really good job. I like the positioning of last one, but they weren't able to actually capitalize when it came down to the mechanics of delivering the bullets into their opponent's skulls, into their opponent's brains. And now Star X have a lot of loot that they can use to refill their coffers, but they're going to have to do it quickly because they were already in the blue. They have to get a move on.
And you talked about it, just the fact that that fight just kind of spawned in the blue, where I think either team could have been like, all right, cool, you're here, we're just going to leave. No, that's not what happened. Both teams.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, that was really good for All-Star right now. I think they're sitting on 10 points overall. And so now that's going to be at least 4 more, not to mention positioning here and placements. And oh, that Southern Swing is going to be really, really good for them. They don't have to move as far as they might have thought. Swings just onto a Graveyard. There are a couple of teams on the south that are going to be contesting Star X for that position. But the action, once again, like the previous game, is going to come in from the north. Hacienda, San Martinez. That's where all the teams are going to be hanging out from, going to be pushing down on from. And we could be seeing the Knights in a position to gatekeep, but they're on the move themselves. They want to get in position first. Noob right now, rotating away, rotating around. This is going to be on the east side. They are right next to Druidas. Nade at the ready. This is actually on the north, swinging back over there. There's a lot of fighting happening around. Danny with the Scar. Can't quite find an angle. They're trying to find an opening to push in from the north side. Basically relegated to the edge at this point. Ventru. Well, I don't imagine that they'd be so brazen to think they can just push in towards center and really have a nice dominating positional control. Instead, they're going to be playing edge play and try and fight in from the north once the circle closes, once they can guarantee that no one else is going to be backfilling from the north side. There are a couple of teams still out there. There's that team in green that you can see for a few brief moments on Danny's screen. Now over here, Mixed Mafia. Good bit of damage. Trasher, a lot of damage here onto Druidas. This is very solid here. Nice shots coming out to secure Mafia's position. But they're going to have to move because the blue is pushing on in. Just in time, Trasher is able to take out his last few members. Back on into his buggy, and away he goes. You can see a couple of teams rotating in front. When you come in this late, there's always that risk of a team lying in wait, ready for you, and when you lack the information, sometimes you just have to make a blind send. I think Trasher might have spotted something out. Yep, indeed, it's going to be Noob. Sending some shots. That's going to be pushing them out into the blue, forcing them into a much wider rotation than they were hoping. But this is a big open area that Noob is holding. There could be some fire coming back their way. They might have bitten off a little more than they can chew.
And Cam, I gotta jump in here. I know I'm not really supposed to, but I have to. And it's also definitely has nothing to do with the fact that Degon accidentally disconnected himself in the middle of the game, because I gotta jump in.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that, no. Because Nova is in a fantastic position once again to pick up a bunch of these early game kills. HCL and crew, they look so solid in that last round. And I'm curious to see if they're gonna full send it into this compound, or if they're going to reposition. They're on the edge of this next circle, and no team has been able to take over the center of it yet, just due to the nature of this hard shift. So we'll see if they're up to go for the fight here, clean out the team that could potentially be behind them, or just push right on through. And Cam, that looks like it's going to be the play here. They're just sending it, and they're getting punished for it.
I don't know if there's any other play, though, because it's been multiple hard shifts in a row. And I don't think that the openness, open area from the edge of this next circle, I don't think that it would be a reliable strategy for any of these teams to try and just edge play and fight their way through. So I do not mind Nova's decision to try and send it towards center. But yeah, it's not being done for free.
No, they're going to lose a couple players along the way. Knights is there as well, could take advantage of the team as we're seeing just the mad scramble on the outside as teams are trying to find their way on in. And again, just you're right, Kim. The circle has just been jerking these teams around left and right, hard shift one after another. And the play around Graveyard is going to make it tough, as well as outside of Crater and La Bandita, because that terrain is not friendly for a lot of these squads. You can just pop right up over a ridge. A team can be there waiting for you, which means the scouting is going to need to be so key. And like we can see here from the Knights, getting this elevated position to keep tabs on who's rotating by is going to be critical.
Knights have great angles here, as long range as they are, to try and deal damage to teams rotating on in. They don't need to move too much themselves because their area of Graveyard is just barely inside this next circle, but they know that they're going to have to climb up low ground to high ground for the rest of this game once we hit circle 5. And similar to the previous game on Erangel, we're looking at an end game that doesn't have a lot of hard cover.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Chico trying to find some shots there as I'm back, and Peace, 4Piece not finding any peace there, but it's all the stables right now. Tohio trying to hold it right there, gets the drop shot and will land it. Will be able to revive multiple members as well. So 4Piece almost went out there. Instead, they wipe a squad and pick up some huge points.
Unable to revive all their members. That's going to be Prafi going down, but they should be able to get the third on up. I don't know if Knights are going to have an angle there to stop that revive, but they have a lot of targets that they can shoot at, so I don't think they're too worried. Already 3 kills, and here comes Noob rotating all the way in. I believe this is from the east side, making a wide rotation themselves. And yes, Alucard is there with the rest of his team to make sure that it is not a comfortable road trip for Noob.
Yeah, again, Noob Esports Mexico, they're the ones that got the slot as a couple of teams were not able to compete, and now they're facing off against one of the most experienced teams right now. Knights looking to siege on in. Great nade by Rattles as Formal gets taken down. Only one more left inside the space. Oh, Rattles, he's on fire. He walked on it. He'll be okay, though. Heals on up. Is Chico going to clear it out? Does he win the 1v1? Oh. No, he doesn't. Goes down. That's 2 down now. And the circle will be moving on in very soon. Do they finish him off? Yes, they do. And Knights clean off yet another one. It's a lot of kills. 7 kills so far here for Knights.
Yeah, but they also have 2 of their own members down that need to pick on up. Circle shifts towards the east, throws itself towards the east. And so we're talking about Nova's wild, risky rotation. They have to move yet again. So they're not even going to be able to stick around for too long. Crate coming in dead of center. I wonder if that's going to be usable as cover towards the last few circles of the game. But here come the rotations on the map.
Yeah, Rerix running right on into Nova, but Nova now getting one knocked early. 4Piece, they're back in the stables, and they're pretty comfortable where they're at. They do know that All-Star StarX has the house next to him. They have a pretty good beat on him due to 7BG. The nade comes on in, almost blows him up. It's an indestructible piece of wood, everybody, as that one doesn't do damage. But the one further away, the nade further away, does do a lot of damage. Smoke comes on through, and it looks like Stars are going to push on in. 4Piece has an answer. Tunathan gets knocked. The jump shot by Rush It turns around on him, and Rush It gets rushed himself. And now Stealth doesn't have backup, trying to find out, should he go in, should he run away? Able to get away, but Stars, they had 4. They leave only with 2.
Yeah, I like the idea, like the aggressive intention. But it does get punished as 4Piece. You can see the backup arrived for 78G just in time, and now they're in a position to pick up a few more points for themselves. They don't need to move too much.
Oh.
This compound is in this circle, but a leap into the compound, trying to potentially push up the top floor. At least baiting the idea out, faking us out. But he's under their stairs like a troll, like a little British child. He's going to be a nuisance for at least the next couple of minutes.
He's going to be hairy for the next couple of minutes. Right now, the kill feed is going off like a nuisance. All teams are losing players right now. Nova getting knocked. Wow, that nade looked like it hit something. But 78G hasn't quite found anything yet. And they're literally on top of each other. They're in the same house. They're in the same building. Smokes? Is it Smokes? What nade just point out? Yeah, Smokes. Lots of Smokes. Reddles gets finished off. Nova's Rin gets finished off. Overhaul Esports is losing a couple of members, and it's Nova getting knocked out by, I believe it was Admiral finishing them off. They got in 10th. Knights get finished off in 9th. So the two heavy hitters knocked out early as Moeller continues to push on forward here for our winning team, One Shot MX.
More EPC utility come out. Incendiary could be good. It's never comfortable being inside a bowl like IMS are. But I believe Muller spotted that attempt at a rotation. So he's going to back away, get with his teammates, put their attention towards the rest of the circle because it's shifted up in their direction. They have maybe the potential of trying to take over this game if they can find a solid position. But I think it's going to be all wide open in front of them. Plus, of course, they still need to worry about IMS.
The zooms on our view don't look great, but I'm sure that one looked great. Oh, run away! I love it when they throw a nade and it doesn't quite connect there. As I think it was one shot in Mexico had a great line on Immortal NA. You said being in a bowl isn't ever comfortable. I think One Shot should have continued to push on in there to find something, and now One Shot are getting picked off from distance. That was 4-piece, knocking them across the map.
Okay. Trying to go for some more of themselves. Finally, a team is trying to take center of this circle, but there was not much there. It's basically an open field here, whether it's covered in grass or not. It's just flat ground. But oh, here comes Stars, wounded as they are. Still trying to deal some damage, 7 kills. 3 members, they were able to get a revive. On to, I believe, Rush, that was knocked.
Yeah, and that was Vigelson going down. I think that's One Shot Mexico that might be out. No, they're still alive, but they lost multiple members. Remember, they had that opportunity just a couple of seconds ago, or a couple minutes ago, to attack Immortal NA when they were down below them. Instead, they waited, and now their numbers have waned.
10K. Tank. Here. Sneaking in from the south. I believe they are a solo player left alone. But here is Immortals and A. They've been able to move in their position. That bowl is more like a valley because they've been able to push forward. And they're so vulnerable to pieces of utility, to grenades being thrown in. But this valley has given them cover from not just the team that is no longer there on the north, but also all these teams here on the south. They have a very good position to wait to see how everyone else fights it out before they themselves get involved, which is a great strategy to try and win a game. 10K here just barely gets inside the blue. Has the meds to heal on up, and the circle has swung a bit towards the north and the west. And there is not a single soul inside it.
All right, now 10K for Ornata. We see tags out there, hashtag Ornata. Pulling out, and a big nade on the Admiral gets him another placement point. Nice play there by 10K.
Not just that, it's another kill as well. 3 kills so far. That grenade might have given his position away. You don't exactly hear where the grenade is thrown from. So it'll all be a matter of triangulation and estimated guessing. But now Star, they want to go aggressive once again in this barn. Stealth jumping around, trying to land the shots, and that's the backup swinging around the side. But Botnock, just barely able to win that one out.
Yeah, Botnock almost missed that one, but here comes the rest of 4-piece. They're trying to get revenge here. The reload, the drop shot, not going to work. Rush It lives up to his name this time. 1 left in the stall. He sees his head pop on up. Will he land the shots? 78G trying to get it. Oh, and it's so close, but Rush It lives. He'll live for his team and get both revives on Botnock and Stealth 9, but the zone is coming in. Maybe he can't. Look at those. The first stage just get dropped. And I think Rush It's just going to have to continue to send it. He's going to heal on up. and try to work his way back on in. In the meantime, multiple teams have already been knocked out. Only 3 left. Rush it, picking up as many meds as he can. There are no first aids by anyone. Is there first aid there? No, there isn't. He sees Kevin's head, but Tazen finds him first, and now there's only 1 team remaining, and it's just the sneaky snake of NT of Masterly. We're saying where Masterly finished. There they are. They finish in second here in Miramar. It's a win for Immortal NA. I was going to give them a whole bunch of, I guess just crap, because they just did not push on One Mexico, and then I was going to give crap for One Mexico not punishing Immortal NA, and Immortal NA end up going through that valley, as you said, finding space, and then getting the victory.
Yeah, you could see on the mini-map when that fight in the barn was happening, the 4 little yellow dots were starting to spread out. Like I said, they were going to wait to see how everyone was going to fight it out, and then take advantage of it, and then continuing to spread out, get that fanning positioning around the circle. They had the crossfires available to take out all the wounded, limping teams that were left in play. Only 5 kills for them. But that's 5 kills plus 15 points for the win. So I think they'll be happy with that one overall.
Yeah, a little bit more action, I think, spread throughout the game on this one because of the circle. Remember, that plane path went fully south, and then the circle dropped northeast, and it forced teams to rotate on in. So you got a fight here on a rotation. Oh, you had 2 teams in the same house here, and then obviously we followed along that fight that went for such a long time with All-Star Star X and 4 Piece. Remember, they were on top of each other. The Harry Potter reference. That one was the fight that we just saw there. I think that finished off 4 Piece in 4th place. So not too shabby there. I wish we would have seen a little bit more of what happened while we're following along them on top of each other, because I believe there were teams, Overhaul Esports, Nova, they were caught in a massive fight around when we had, I think, about 12 teams, and next thing you know, we were down to 7, and then after that fight over in the stables, we went down to 3 teams there, Cammy.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at the leaderboard from the previous game, trying to do some internal math and see where everyone stands. I think All-Stars are going to be in a really good position. And, of course, Nova and One Shot, who had a great first game. We still have 3 rounds left. But the time for having that slow, lazy start, it's over.
It's over. And we're starting to see a lot of teams that we haven't seen before or haven't had a massive impact get the opportunity to play against teams that have been around for a while. And if you all at home want that chance, want that opportunity, ! Sign up in the chat to figure out how you can sign up for the ESL Mobile Open. You got Ladder 2 coming soon. Make sure to sign up. You and your friends, you think you got what it takes? Do so. ! Sign up. We're going to take a short break. Toss it back to Glitter and Paul. When we come back, the analyst desk breaks down game number 2.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. We're here with our first final for ladder 1 of our fall season. I'm in Verum. Let's Glitter Explosion. And oh my goodness, things are really starting to heat up on Miramar. I don't know if you folks know this, but GG, the term GG, actually means the first horse out of the gate. And after that battle in stables, I feel like we have really hit the track because, oh my goodness, we didn't really slow down once the action started going in that last game.
You have had some obscure references. This might be the most obscure out of all of them. So I would like to commend you for that because that was impressive.
It was our university mascot. That's how I know that. It was a horse. That's the only reason I know that. But it came into play right here. No, that was actually, you said it during the break. That was a clinic put on there. This team's holding on and like wild. And the way they were able to trade out back and forth, I don't have enough good things to say. Just crazy individual skill from all these players.
Yeah, no, and I'm super excited to dive into all of those highlights. But before we do, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about AnyKey. We talk to you about them all the time. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's the GLHF pledge. We're trying to get you guys to sign it, okay? If you want more information, you can head on over to AnyKey.org. But we're essentially promoting diversity and inclusion in gaming and esports, being a good person on the internet. And when you sign that pledge, you'll get a sweet little badge in Twitch chat, okay? Paul and I have signed it. But if you guys don't believe us, we've got a quick little video for you to check out. So let's take a look.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix. I think it's important for these initiatives to happen. Empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun. That's what it's all about, and I highly recommend you head over to AnyKey.org. Sign the pledge. Over 1 million people already have done so. So go join in a great cause. But let's get back to the action here. I talked about it. I was so excited as we came back from the break. But let's take a look back at some of the highlights from this last game because Miramar did not disappoint. Again, had that maybe a bit of a slower early start, but like I said, once the action started, I just feel like we jumped from fight to fight to fight to fight, and I think the circles, the hard shifts really played into that, Glitter.
Yeah, and we saw that right from the beginning, right? And we heard, obviously, Degon and Cameron talking about it as well. Like, the fact that the plane path was so far south and then the zone was so far northeast, we were bound to just have fight after fight with the way teams are going to have to be rotating into the zone to be safe. But the stables were just this, like, specifically very dangerous zone in this game that gave us so much action.
I mean, 4-piece, just the way they were able to play around there, you know, they survived for so long. But I got to give props to the Knights as well. They were a team we specifically called out. We have high expectations for them. We needed to see them step up here in this game, and I think they did so. 7 kills with 33 left alive. That is quite a performance. But this is the play I'm talking about. Able to hold on here, pre-fire through the smoke. The jump shot around the corner will end up meaning nothing as the team shooting comes on in. Stars, well, they have to twinkle somewhere else because they were denied entry. And again, just that kind of action non-stop this game.
That's the type of stuff we were talking about, though, coming into today. We were saying it's that mechanical skill, that awareness, that gun skill. That's the type of stuff that's marking these teams as our top teams here in our finals. And to see such a solid example of a play like that, I mean, that was just impressive, to say the least. But Game 2, we got to give a little bit of love here to Immortals as well, because they're a team that we've talked about throughout the entirety of the ladder. There's somebody we had our eyes on coming into today on the finals, and game number 2 went their way.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give some props to them. They were one of these squads that we identified of having that consistent week-over-week play over the course of, you know, the open ladder portion of our tournament. And again, able to put up a really stellar performance. Congrats to Immortal NA. Really excited to see this team continue because these are names we have casted before. These are squads that we've seen before. So they've got that level of competitive experience. They know what it's like to be here on the big stage. They just need to chain it together. But I got to give props to All-Stars. I talked about them during that replay segment. 32 points, 2 solid, consistent games. 16 kill points. They have been getting involved in these fights.
And that's why I was saying that after that first game, the fact that the lead for Nova was kept so small really left the door open for any of these teams to step up. And now after game 2, we're already seeing so many shakeups here on our leaderboard in the top 4 alone. And even so, all of these points gaps are starting to close down. Look at 5th through 7th. Everybody's at 19 points right now. 15 for 8th place, then moving on to our second page here. I mean, all of these teams are at least starting to get some more points on the board. We're seeing, like you had said, Inviram, Knights stepped up. Tons of points on the board this time for them. Overhauls now in the double digits. We're only 2 games in, so teams still have some time to get some points up there, but I think that some of the teams we had expected to do better maybe are not.
Yeah, and that's, again, the nature of the beast in a battle royale. Sometimes the circles don't go your way. Sometimes the rotation doesn't quite work out the way you intended. You take a fight early that, doesn't pan out. And again, I gave Knights props. They were able to pull up, 7 additional points there. They have a single placement point. They need to be able to convert these mid-game fights into long-term positional success. They're spending just a little bit too much time. We constantly see them lingering on the edge of these next circles and not prioritizing the next rotation. They need to turn that around. They have the base. It's not impossible, but they're down 20 points from that first place position. But it's not over yet. We still have 3 games in store for you all. We're going to head to a short break. When we come back, right into the action with game number 3.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Fall North American Ladder 1 Finals. It's game number 3. Degon and Cameron Davis. We drop on into Sandhawk, and this one, any plane path is great, but this one is actually great as it goes across the map.
Yeah, this is the one map that a plane path being swinging off to the side isn't really going to be that impactful, but just for good luck, it is going to be virtually center. And even so, we're still seeing a lot of teams all go in the same direction. We have maybe 2 teams going towards the east, and they might actually both be fighting over Camp Bravo, but 90% of the lobby going towards the west side.
Yeah, they must know something here. As a couple of teams, our last team that won, Immortal NA, is getting hot dropped upon? Is that what's happening over at Camp Bravo in the northeast?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
The only teams around here, but some initial shots coming out from Trey. Really good job. Doesn't get the knock, but it is still that initial damage, especially when now that player's going to have to be looting around not just for weapons, but also for meds. Is going to give them a good opportunity potentially to set up in a much better position, or if they want to, just leave.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me that Vitality is they committed so hard for the camp just because those are the only 2 teams in the area. I'm sure you're scanning around. You're like, yeah, we only have 1 squad. That's it. You could pull off to Resort. You could pull off to Bon, as they have. But instead, they drop near each other, and it's Immortal NA that will back on off. Knights trying to hold Painan. They get pushed off a little bit there, I believe, by Ventru. And then Nova is kind of over in the southwestern area, spreading out with, what is that, OE.
Yeah. So while there's actually not a lot of action happening, it seems, players are just barely separated from each other. Because, this is the halfway mark. If you're a team at the very bottom of the leaderboard, I could see there being some temptation to try and go for an early fight for spacing, positioning, and loot, a Hail Mary. But it doesn't surprise me that people are just trying to make sure that the early game goes on without a hitch. But let me just bring something to your attention.
Yes, what
the desk
are you
bringing?
Mm-hmm.
The desk mentioned how there are some teams that they expected to do well that aren't. And I want to double down on that, and that there are a lot of teams who are not living up to their ladder 1 placement point expectations. If you take Nova out, placements 2nd through, I believe, 8 from the qualifying leaderboard are now in placements 10 through 15 on the finals leaderboard. It's like the leaderboard just did a 180, excluding Noobs Esports and Nova Esports. So a lot of teams are really coming out to play that we did not expect.
Yeah, Noobs Esports Mexico and Mixed Mafia, the 2 teams that qualified as 2 teams disbanded, they're also on the bottom side. But you're right. K1, don't see them on the top side. Druidas, we don't see them there either. Overhaul Esports, Ventru, none of those teams in the top. Remember, it's All Stars Star X, a team that has been fragging out 16 kills, 16 placement points, and then One Shot, who got the chicken dinner in that very first game, lead Nova. Now Nova on the run, and they're going to run into the other experienced squad. It's XGL, and he's surrounded by 3 members of the Knights, and one Knight who hasn't moved yet. It's Reddles. Reddles has an eye on him. What?
Yeah, I don't know how much information Reddles. Oh wait, no, that's HCL. He's not behind the.
Yeah, Reddles 100% sees him.
I couldn't see him. My eyesight's not that great. I thought that was just that player card was on the other side of the hill. But now he sees him just there. But he's waiting for the rest of Nova to come on in.
This is going to be really bad for Knights or really good for the rest of the lobby. ACL gets taken down. Oh, Quan Yu gets taken down as well. 2 early kills. Russell picks up 1 of them. And now Rin already dinged up. It's just Rin and G-Fan. And they have to decide if they're going to stay here. Oh, time to shoot the ankles. Time to shoot the toesies. The 3rd one goes down. This is horrible for Nova. And every single member in the lobby is basically thanking the sky, the heavens. Holy cow. Nova, 3rd place, favorite in the tournament, just got nearly wiped out by Knights. And if you're Knights, it's, okay, good. We beat one of the best teams in the lobby. We're okay. They needed a lifeline because they've just been floundering early on.
Yeah, Knights are averaging just above 5 points a game. So they've already almost matched that. This is a really good game, hopefully, for them to continue to push that and really make up the gap that we've seen from the top positions and where they are on the scoreboard so far, which is 10th place. And for the flip side for Nova, we talked about it already, you're allowed one. In a best-of-5 series, you are allowed one game that only nets you a couple of points. Zfan, there's a real opportunity, real possibility that he could, as a solo player, find 1 or 2 kill points. Maybe on Sanok, I think this could be more possible. Maybe sneak his way into 2 or 3, maybe 4 placement points thereabout. But that's still not going to be a lot. They already have 28 points, though. So they're still going to be in a good position, barring another All-Star game by All-Star Star X or one shot.
Man, what a start here. And I'm not only talking about Knights and these players specifically just in this game against Nova, but all these guys are vets. How many times have they been wiped by Nova in positions like that where they've had the jump on them and then just Nova out-frags them or they do some sort of miraculous play, which is why we've always been so hype on Nova, on GFan, on HZL, and the whole squad there. But instead, Knight's able to clamp down, pick up 3 kills, and make this lobby a lot lighter. Even though it was just 3 members removed, I feel like every team in this lobby might be like, wow, we have the chance to score points. We don't have to worry about a kill sponge that should be taking like 10 kills. We have the opportunity to be the kill sponge ourselves.
Yeah. So Immortals running around. They avoided the hot drop. And now they're continuing to push on into the east side, but now it's going to be Star, top of the leaderboard. They want to continue to keep that position, holding the line, or actually, they potentially even backstabbing against another team that's on their way. A lot of players down for Masterly. And LTH9 wants to go and finish this fight, but don't overextend.
Oh, no!
Because we have Overhaul Esports also swinging on in.
Overhaul Esports took all the points, and now All-Star Star X have to decide, do we push on those guys? We know where they're at. Oh, I guess the answer is yes. Rush It has it in his name. Jin Kuriki gonna get the revive here onto Admiral as Admiral gets knocked early. No nades coming on through yet. There it is, a little bit short. It was a molly. I think Star X is gonna hold for a little bit longer. Tunathan answers 1 there. So maybe you'd imagine, hey, we knocked 1, we knocked a second. Let's go push and finish off this squad. But Rush It is hanging further back. Tunathan and Stealth 9 now getting on the flank. Stealth 9 has been seen by Jin Curry. Has the nade. 1, 2, 3. Is he Chef Curry? We'll find out. 2 nades come on through. The big jump away. It's an action movie there by Stealth 9. And he continues to live. Now the rest of Star X going to continue to push on forward. As Bot Knock gets knocked, gets flushed. But the return kill comes on through. 2 members still alive here for OE. As Admiral and Jin Curry, they're on the other rock, get taken down.
It's not the cleanest take, but it is a very successful push here by Star X. Damage from the side.
You're leaning?
How's the cook of this grenade gonna go? Where does it land?
He might kill his teammates. No, I don't.
He does neither. Admiral trying to crawl back. He's gonna bleed out, and there is the shot from behind.
And there's the kill. All right.
Yeah.
So Star X, they're continuing to stay fully aggressive here. And now we're rotating onto another fight. Is that Knights? Yep. Knights yet again now ran into Ventru as Lucky knocked. Danny 2K knocked. 1G reloading will get the revive up. Knights, they've got some trouble of their own. And it's all 3 members currently down. Chico getting rushed. 1G checks the wrong rock. And now he sees all the bodies. Oh no, this is the Knights that we didn't want to see. 1G trying to finish it off here. Zooming around, did they find him? Yes, they did. And Knights go out after almost finishing off Nova. They're the team that goes out in 14th place. This is so Knights. Oh my God.
It really is. It really is. That's not to be the bearer of bad news, but I think that's going to be securing the Knights' low scoreboard, low leaderboard, low grand finals finish, because the possibilities, hey, it's possible, but the chances of being able to make up this much of a deficit in the final 2 games, it's going to have to be some of the best PUBG Mobile that we have seen for it to happen.
That's... Oh, they make the great play. They set the trap. I was even yelling at Reddles earlier. I was like, hey, why haven't you shot yet? As now we follow along with the last chicken dinner winner. Immortals, Poppy Kevin, able to get a knock there. He's further away from his team, is now last one. This is another squad that's been hanging around here, currently in 8th place. Seeing if they can catch their teammate Feng Pao. Nope. Feng Pao gets taken down. Poppy Kevin picks up the kill for Immortal as they will clean up this house and now have it as their own.
Yeah. Very, very sloppy and greedy positioning from last one to have one member out there on the east section of this compound by themselves. That's just asking to get isolated by a team approaching in, and that's exactly what happened. So now that's a kill going the way of Immortals. They also have a 4-3 advantage, high ground advantage. The only thing really going last one's way is that they're, I guess, closer to the center of the circle, but in phase 2 on Sandler, like, that's not really going to be giving them that much of an advantage. As always, we're going to see what happens with phase 3 if it really mixes things up here. But honestly, that's just, at the end of the day, an unforced error by last one.
Rerix holding the ground here for K1. Remember, K1 was qualified as 2nd place in the regular season ladder as we looked through those names at the beginning of the day, only behind Nova Esports. But they haven't found their footing yet. As you said, all the top teams other than Nova Esports currently find themselves on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, they have 4 points right now. So they need to start getting more. They need to have some big standout games these final 3 rounds. At the moment, playing slow and silent, which really is the name of the game right now. Not only is Circle 2 about to close, you don't want to be in the middle of a fight when there's a possibility of having to move, but also there's no need to go for a fight right now. Playing for safety to head into the late game, and with a circle like this, yep, stick around in boot camp. No need to move. Just hang out. Wait for everyone else on the extremities to be fighting each other. And just play and wait for the late game.
Yeah, K1 camping on top there. So it's K1 and current 2nd place. 1 shot in Mexico, and now getting a decent amount of information there. Hey, that's Ventru. They're feeling pretty good after their wipe of the Knights. I wonder if GFan already had been knocked out and Nova's out. There's 13 teams left, but I don't see a straggler anywhere yet. So maybe he has been knocked out already. A bit of a clump near north of Quarry.
Quarry is a little bit around Paradise Resort. Nothing's really been activated just yet. Right now, it's all these teams figuring out where is that hole, where is that gap. It's helpful that there were already 3 teams out. That's certainly going to make things easier, especially on the smaller map of Sanhok. Mafia spots a potential target. They have to get Neo up. I don't think he's in a safe resable position, which is why it's taking them so long to get there.
Trasher's going for it. Trasher, he didn't get it. Oh, no. If you're Neo, you're so frustrated right now with your team. I mean, he probably died in such an awkward spot. We can't see what's below this cliff here for Aldo. And Aldo has to keep checking his back just in case for Quarry.
And hey, now that Neo's out, his job is just to take notes and try and feed as much information as he can catch to his team.
Yeah, has an idea where Alfino is at, but again, just hasn't been the tournament that Mixed Mafia would want. Same with Ornata. Ornata hasn't been able to, I think, string together a map yet where they've gotten a ton of points or a ton of kills. They currently sit in 6th with some placement points. But that was based off of, I believe, the first game. That first game, they were the 4th place team, I believe, that got knocked out. As there it is. There's our boy G-Fan. He's still alive, surviving in Painan. He was hanging out in the blue. Doesn't have a ton of first aids. Decent amount of bandages, not a lot of...
Okay, last one.
Yeah, there it is. We saw this earlier. Svan was keeping an eye on the rest of Immortals is, remember, they lost their member Feng Piao, and so they gave up some of those buildings. They've taken the hill now, and, you know, Immortal NA don't have a lot of spaces to go as they're all the way up on the edge of the zone.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if they tried to wrap around either to the north or the south, but it's possible that they just waited too long, and now the only option with the blue where it is, aka almost closed, is just to run directly into last one, but the high ground advantage is going to give last one the biggest advantage here in the fight. The circle shifts away. It's going to be center on the map, a little bit west in terms of where the playable area was from the previous circle. So last one needs to make a decision. They have the option to either stay and fight and really get Immortals out, or do they try and get to the circle earlier? There are advantages and disadvantages to both decisions, and it looks like they are opting to leave and get inside the circle, and they will deal with Immortals later.
Yeah, again, if you look at that zone, not a lot of buildings inside. The only one is where Vitality Esports is currently residing. So last one's going to hold there as we follow along with our fragging squad, our first place squad, All-Star Star X. They've lost 2 members already, currently being hunted by Druidas, who are in desperate need of points and now have the zone to help them out. Nades coming on through as Stealth X able to find, or Stealth 9 able to find yet another one. There he goes, tries to cross the street, and he's going to get dual fired. Finds one, finds 2. How is he doing this? Will he be able to get himself in? He gets another. He wipes out the squad. Star Stealth. That is amazing.
Listen, with V1 right above him, his chances of getting any further in this game is very slim, but already 10 kills. They are keeping the dream alive. Can Stealth 9 do it again? Wanji is lying in wait. They heard the action happening.
There's no way. He's going to get jumped on here, right? Oh my goodness. He's not looking at him. Yeah. Oh no.
There's no way to know. There was no way that Stealth could have known. And with the blue at his back, there was no option to try and play it safe, to try and play for information. He had to just cross his fingers. Unfortunately, he does get taken out. There's one more member of Star X still alive, deeper in the blue, trying to heal as fast as he can. But either way, even going out this early, this is another really good game for Star X to keep their lead up.
Yeah, and that was G-Fan getting knocked out before All-Star Star X get finished off there. So 12th place for Nova after getting that early jump. It was a valiant attempt by G-Fan, but ran into all 4 members of VT right there. So, man, what a run there by All-Star Star X. No way to cross over from Painan to get into boot camp. Now they're getting gated out. Nade's starting to rain on in now onto Immortal NA. I believe that is last one's Forgiven, chucking those nades at him, and they've got all of 4Ps peeking in the same direction. You could see it. Oh, Poppy Sammy getting shot at right there. Will heal on up and knows where those ones came from.
Look at the map. It's another circle where the end game is basically out in the open. There's one itty-bitty compound for cover. So we're about to lose at least 3 more teams as this circle closes, maybe even more than that. There's going to be a lot of fighting here on the east side. Immortals trying to pull away, but they're going to be running directly into Vital, and there is still Forgiven lying in wait, ready to backstab once that fight does break out.
Yeah, you look at those, all 3 teams that are there. It's Vital, it's Immortal NA, and then 4Piece with Forgiven just kind of sinking around there. Aldo is also, you can see him on the mini-map, just kind of hanging around, and you still see Rush It on your southwestern side. Maybe he'll be able to make it on in. We don't know yet.
He's trying to rush it in. We'll check on him later, but right now, Immortal Blue coming in, forcing both members out into the open, both teams out into the open, but Immortal stays alive, but that Blue is going to continue to tick away and deal damage. There's still some first aid kits.
No, did he do it right?
He is getting low.
Yeah. All right, smooth moves there by Poppy Sammy to hang on for a bit, but he knows 4Piece is just staring right at him. And all of a sudden, we went from 11 teams down to 7. It looked like Vitality has been knocked out. Rush It just gets knocked out as well. So All-Star Star X might have found some placement points there. K1 getting finished off. And it's just chaos. This is the chaos that we've been waiting for here in Sandhawk.
That's it. That's it for Poppy. Down to 5 teams. And now 4-piece. They have a bit of space around them, but that space also extends between them and the circle. And then there's a backstab from Aldo. Taking a lot of damage from the blue. Don't know if he's going to make it. He has to run out in the open as well. Could easily get shot by 4-piece. He's hanging on by a thread. 3 points of health. Oh, he finds the angle. Can't get the damage for a second knock, but he's going to keep pushing it because that's his only option.
Yep, get down, be bandaged. But, oh, yeah, you could see the rest of VT on the minimap looking right at him. All they have to do is find where he's at. And they haven't been able to see him, and there it is. 4-piece able to find it. So SK999 able to find one there. 4 teams remaining. 4-piece got caught up in the zone in that fight. I believe with Vitality they won it, but with casualties. Now they're getting shot from distance, and with a beam! It's VT taking him down, and they collect all the points.
Noobs Esports Mexico, they're at the very bottom of the leaderboard, but they are making a climb towards the top. They finished off 4-piece, and now they are trying to stay as 4 as they are in the top 3 of this game, but they need to contest with Ventrue also trying to climb higher on the leaderboard.
Who's the solo?
Third team? Who's the third team? Who's the third player?
All right, this is a great view. Thank you, observers, as we can see the battle breaking down, and you can see Ventrue is the one getting aggressive. Sunflower not spotted, catches one. The silencer isn't quiet enough. It's just Clark who is damaged up. The push coming on through, Trash them off. Who's our lone player?
Ah, there he is. It's Vital.
It's Vital.
All the way on the north end, the blue, able to heal to second place, but it is going to be Ventrue. They took out All-Star. And now they take the game as they get first place here with, I didn't catch their kills. I think it was around 7 or 8, which is a good, pretty decent amount.
Yeah. Again, just the fact that Noob Esport made it that far in. We've talked about those 2 teams with Mixed Mafia and Noob Esports having like a tough start. They've been able to bounce on in and collect some points there. So good showing by Noob Esport Mexico.
Wait. I'm being told that Ventrue got 15 kills.
They got 15 kills?
I don't know when that could have happened because from what we were watching, they weren't very active throughout the early game or even the mid game. I expected that from what I saw, they were a team that just slid on in towards the end and very strategically found the gap, found the hole, found the chance for victory and took it, but they didn't do it in a super dominating fashion. But if they swung in and basically as the lone team to take out everyone else, gunning them all down, 4 Rambos sitting on top of a Forest Hill. That's very, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, remember, there was a whole clump of teams in that area that Ventrue were in, and they were the ones that were waiting for Star X to climb up the hill from Painan. Maybe they were able, and they also were the ones that knocked out G-Fan, who was the solo. So I guess if you add it all up, they were the right spot at the right time multiple times, and each time, hopefully, we'll have some analysis from Paul and from Glitter of how many times it happened. And if you want your opportunity to hop on in, make sure to sign up, ! Sign up in the chat for your chance to play in next season's Mobile Open to chop it up, not only with the likes of Nova, but the up-and-comers like Ventrue. So we're going to take a short break, calculate the scores when we come back. We'll break down that hectic game number 3 on Sandhawk. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the ESL Mobile Open.
welcome back to ESL Mobile Open. I'm Glitter Explosion, joined by Envirum, and oh my god. Okay, we need to talk about this last game here, Envirum, because obviously Sandhawk's a little bit crazy, right? Okay, we're not surprised by that.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
This particular one?
Yeah. It started out with two of the teams we have the highest expectations for, the teams that have the most competitive professional experience. The Knights, Nova going toe-to-toe. End up mutually assured destructioning each other. Nova goes out to Knights. Knights go down soon after, don't find any placement points. And then we see Stars come in again. And they are out of position completely. And they're still able to take things over. But it's this team right here, Ventru. They had 3 kills over 2 games coming into this, Glitter, and they racked up 15 kill points alone. They skyrocketed to 2nd place off of this performance, the single best we've seen any team get yet in this tournament today.
I mean, we heard Cameron talking about it, you know, how if we're playing 5 games in a day, right, you've probably got 1 game where you can't do that well. I feel like Ventru heard him, because then after that 2nd game, they're like, okay, we got to turn it on. I mean, 15 kills. We were stoked when Nova had 13 in our first game. And then Ventru came through and did even more. I mean, that's insane.
But we still have to shout out that 1v4 play from Stealth, though, because in my opinion, that's
100%.
the single best play we've seen in this entire tournament. Wish we could have seen a little bit more for them, you know, getting caught out here, but still able to survive for so long. But VT were the team that gate kept them. They shut down that momentum instantly. The second it felt like another team was starting to build up the pace, the momentum, the energy, starting to push the pace. Nah, they just came right in and shut them down. And even looking at this final push here, Glitter, there was zero hesitation at all. They threw the nades in, they had the cover. The play calling was absolutely stellar. One player to bait the shots, everybody else pushed in unison after that. I mean, the timing literally could not get better. They earned every single kill and every point of that chicken dinner.
100%. I mean, they were in the right place at the right time every single time, but then they played those opportunities exactly the way that they needed to be played. Like you were saying, they worked in unison. There was zero, obviously, communication issues between Ventru. And look at the result of that game for them. Are you kidding me? Now they're in 2nd place.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they put up 30 points in that game. They had 7 points going into that. 15 points for the kills, 15 points for that winner chicken dinner. That's you know, the thing with this, we say, hey, you know, don't count teams out. Cameron talked about it. Sure, you don't get a lot of games, but it's hard to come back. Well, if you have games like that, anything is possible. Nova Esports, the team we're constantly looking towards, is now 14 points out of 1st place. Knights isn't even in the picture. This is the opportunity, if you are an up-and-coming star in North America, to make your mark. Because if I'm an org looking to pick up a team here in NA,
right?
Look at some of those teams at the top. I mean, that play from Stealth, man. Get that guy on get the whole team. Get the whole team.
Yeah, and not to be outdone, the casters were highlighting them as well, but Noobs Esports Mexico made a huge jump up for themselves here in this last game as well. So, I mean, you were just saying, Envirum, 1 game can make a huge difference. Well, we saw Noobs down there at the bottom. Now they're almost into our top 8 after this last game. So Sandhawk definitely shook things up for all of our teams, to say the least.
And speaking of at the bottom, I mean, K1 and Druidas down there in 15th and 16th place respectively. They were teams in the top 5 of the leaderboards coming into this. So just goes to show that, you know, the teams that necessarily grinded out, got those points to get in there, you know, at the very top of our leaderboards during the ladder phase, not necessarily being able to perform under the pressure of this 5-game tournament format. So I got to give so many props to the team up there at the top. But also, if you're one of those squads in the middle of the pack, you've got 2 games left, and we've already seen that the squads in this lobby can put up 30-point games, which means nothing, and nobody is out of it yet.
God, I feel like now we're gonna go back to some maps that they're comfortable on. This is where I think things could potentially start changing, okay? Because they didn't know where people dropped last time, but now we're back on repeat maps. So now they've gotten to experience where everybody's dropping. They've gotten to experience their gameplay on these specific maps. It's about how they utilize the information moving forward.
Absolutely. They roughly know where their opponents are going to be landing. They can plan the rotations accordingly. They're going to need to do that mental math pretty quick, because I'm getting word the game is just about ready to go, which means we need to head to a short break. When we come back, Degon, Cameron, they've got all the action, so do not go anywhere.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Fall North American Finals for the ladder one. It's game number 4, and it's business time. If you're one of those teams in the middle of the pack, now's your time to make the move. And if you're at the top, it's time to solidify your name on the cup. So you will be able to do so here with a very southern east to west playing path. It's Degon and Cameron Davis.
Listen, I was ready to roast Paul for saying that they can go back and teams can use the information that they got for drop positions from the first couple of games on the final 2 rounds. I was about to say that doesn't really make sense because the plane paths were so out of whack that you got to take all those drop positions with a grain of salt. Nope, I lied. Actually, think back and remember exactly what it is, because it's going to happen again here because we get a second Southern plane on Erangel, a third of the 4 games we played so far in a row. At this point, I just hope that the next map also has a whack plane path, because come on, it's committed so far.
Just give us a milli base. Give me a milli base circle right now. Now that you've already given us that southern path, oh no, this is literally what just happened on Miramar. everyone went south, and the path goes northeast. And it'll be a lot of rotation on in. We've got 1, 2, 3 teams on the southern island, but only 2 teams next to each other on military base. It'll be Ornata and the Knights need to get anything going right now, as they're one of those underperforming teams that we've highlighted throughout the whole finals here.
So we see a couple of teams dropping around Georgia Pool. So not everyone's going to be around Milta. Still a number of teams around Milta, but not everyone around Milta this time. But while we wait for them to drop, I was just fed a little bit of information. 4-piece, with the number 4 in their name. It's only been 3 games, but in the 3 games so far, they have either finished in 4th place or have 4 kills. So they are sticking to their branding. They are committed.
All fours piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, early drop, and you can see right here, Ventru, who had the pop-off game of a lifetime. I think it was Paul that said it. 3 kills coming into it, 15 after that last map. They are ready and willing to fight.
Yeah, not just the kills, also swinging up to 2nd place. 1st place is still, of course, All-Stars, with 43 total points, 26 of them coming in from kills, and I'm confident that they're going to remain a big threat throughout the entirety of the evening. But nope, we just saw looting up. They want to pick things up again because from the previous game, from getting smashed in the face by the Knights, they have slipped all the way down to 6th place with 29 points. They've had big games before. If they can do it again, we can see them right back there at the top. But Star X are going to be here to make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, with Nova, they're those teams that have been able to put in performances like Star X, have been able to put in performances like Ventru in those last 2 maps, respectively. So I'm not surprised that they have kind of gone a little cold. We've seen them go cold before and then just pop off at the end with like, oh yeah, here's a 30-something point performance, easy. And
oh yeah,
they find
casual.
themselves they're another casual victory in the Mobile Open.
Oh, looking over towards Immortal, sitting now in 4th place. Had an all right run the previous game. And they're in a solid position to try and pick things up there. And yes, Naya, which is in a really good spot in this circle, but the Knights are also rolling up towards the zone. We're looking at about 5 minutes into the game, so we're going to start seeing a lot of teams in their rotations. There's another team off in the distance that Knights actually did a little drive-by shooting at to try and deter them from following up on their own path. Are we going to see them just make their way to Yasnaya, perhaps stay at these little blue houses, or perhaps even make their way all the way up towards Stalbert Mountain?
Well, one thing that Knights haven't done yet, and I don't think they will do, is take the conservative option, right? We've seen them fight like every map. Every map they have fought, and they have fought early and to varying degrees of success. The very first time it was losing a member, and now they're finding out Immortal NA is here. Poppy Sammy trying to get aggressive here. Also taking a fight on the other side of the map with Noob Esport Mexico. So Immortal's now getting squished here by the 2 teal-looking teams.
Yeah, they need to figure out where exactly they want to hold. Yasnaya is a huge city. It's possible. We've seen before that 2, maybe even 3 teams, closer to 2.5 teams, loot up in this area. So it's possible for all these teams to coexist. But Immortal need to choose what part of the city they're going to hold down on. And Papa Sammy is being chased down by the Knights. It's going to be difficult for him to remove himself from this situation. The only hope that he'll have is to perhaps try and shepherd the Knights, who get a little bloodthirsty, chase him into the rest of his team. But it seems that the Knights They're going to stay here for now. They have Reddles all the way off on the side to give some extra information to the main 3 core of the Knights that are on the southwest edge of the city.
A little bit of kill feed casting here with Ventru continuing their fragging ways. Lucky getting an early knock, and the Yasnaya setup seems real for both these squads. They're happy to know, hey, you're here, we're here. We know that you're also fighting another team to the north if you are the Knights. And they are in between Immortals. Immortal NA is a little bit more split up here than the Knights. But you can see why. Kevin just has a great line here on all 4 of them. If any of them step out of line.
I thought Reddles in the configuration of these 2 teams, I thought Reddles was the furthest east, but no, yeah, there's one more member even further. But Russell with the M4 misses that shot, tries to go again, can't hit it. These are perfect opportunities and unable to take advantage of it.
Russell, we saw that. Eyes emojis, everyone. Eyes emojis. Russell. We'll have to back on off and reposition.
Listen, I know that's a you and Paul thing, and I'm very happy that you're allowing me in on the tradition.
Oh yeah, for sure. Russell's done enough of these Russells around all 3 of us that I think it's transferable.
Oh God, there's another team. Last one won in on this.
I don't know if does last one know that Kevin's up there? Yeah,
no.
They must. Stranger, like the way that Stranger is acting seems like it.
Okay, a little bit of a
Kevin
peek.
knows that Forgiven's there.
There's backup arriving. You can see on the minimap. There's a second orange dot in this building. The run! Okay, Forgiven barely staying alive. His toes hanging off, but he's good.
1 HP is more than no HP. There comes the nade, though. Does it get in? It does, and it would have knocked down Forgiven. He was able to heal up in time, though. Wow.
Yeah. Let's look at this map, because a lot of teams have all had to push up from the south where the plane dropped everyone in. There's a lot of teams getting close to the Yasnaya. No one outside of perhaps VT or getting towards Stalber area. But in just a few seconds, you're going to see where Circle 2 goes. Immortal, are they going to be sticking around in Yasnaya? There's the option. They could stay here and try and get involved in these fights and get some kills, thin out their herd a little bit. But there's a lot of better positioning towards the west while the Circle swings that way.
Yeah, Drias were able to find the other members of last one because last one was busy trying to crash on in. Knights now starting to get a little pressured here. Will they be able to hold on? Yeah, I think the door closes in time. And Immortal NA, they lost one in a fight, but they're able to get a knock and reset just a little bit here. And Lost One are just getting picked off right now because I think they wanted to go to Yasnaya, farm up safely. Did not work out for them. They tried to run around, and then Durias was right behind them, or Druias were right behind him, punish him, and Lost One probably down to only 1 to 2 members now.
Russell still holding on to the M4. He wants him to go at it, wants to make up for those misses earlier, but right now it's going to be Immortal, still taking shots at rotating teams, rotating vehicles, and okay, those pink dots, they're coming back in onto Yasnaya.
Like, everyone keeps coming into Yasnaya. Like, they don't expect anyone to be there. That was the safest spot early on. Oh, no. And New Easy makes it too easy there for Papi Triste. He's so sad. He's very, very sad.
Well, K1, that rotation, for what we saw of it, looked like the most chaotic, sporadic rotation. And after watching that, I am not too surprised to see them lower on the leaderboard because their approach into this circle seems to be very, very confused.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense at all. This K1 started to get chipped away at by the Knights, and it seems like Knights have now turned their focus away from anything that was happening with Immortal NA, and now on to K1. Oh, nice lineup there by Reddles. Knew exactly what window he needed to focus on. Cleanup by Russell to get the second knock. Only one left alive here. Jumping shots. Will they land? A couple of them do. Buying a little bit more time. This barrier's indestructible. But Rick stays alive. Able to find one, but not able to get the kill. Knights pick up 4 needed points here.
Yeah. Good confirm on another team that has tried to steal their position away, and they keep all 4 up, even with the knock. This was a well worth engagement. And they can just hang out here on the west side of Yasnaya in a position to disembark from the city with the next circle, depending on where it swings, where it shifts. And they could even potentially gatekeep teams on the other side of Yasnaya if they wanted to go through the city itself to wherever phase 3 swings onto.
I'm interested in what was happening with Immortal earlier, just because there was so much. Think about I think it's 4 teams that have been around Immortal. Some of them have come, drive by, and left. Like Immortal, it just kind of has like the primo real estate to get into the circle if it continues to shift west. And that's why people keep checking it out. They're like, yeah, this is a great spot. And Immortal's like, yeah, we know, go away.
Well, they're still here on the east side, still staring at last one. Not a lot of action since they lost their first casualty of the round. Where is the next circle going to shift? That's the big question. And oh, it's going to be center. It's going to be center on top of the river. So the teams in Yasnaya, time to leave. Yeah, the water could be very, very impactful. Crossing over into the later stages of the game is going to be very, very difficult. So teams need to make a gamble right now. Do you choose the north or the south?
You know, I actually meant both right now and today. Just lots of water. Remember the circle 4 that was 75 or 80% water? This one, maybe not as much percentage-wise, but it's like smack dab in the middle of the map, and it's just going to be such a huge thing to worry about if you're any of those teams. You have to guess, are we going on the northern side or southern side of the water?
Yeah, it could end up having more impact than that huge water circle from the first Erangel. If it stays
that was just
in
like,
the
hey,
middle
that's
of the
dead
circle,
space. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you knew where you could play. Here, when it's a river that cuts through the circle, you don't know where the game is going to end. And that's what makes it incredibly difficult. And that's why we might see some teams go for early engagements here, because we are getting down to the wire in this best of 5 series. You do not want to leave it up for chance. So if you are not 100% sure that your side of the river is going to be where the game ends on, you are going to want to do your due diligence, be proactive with making sure that the rotations later on in the game are going to be as easy as possible if you need to make them.
Following along here with Quan Yu and Nova. They've been pretty quiet. A lot of that action has just been in Yasnaya. Observers doing a great job catching all of that one. But Nova, we've hit on it. They need to start making some moves here as Tunathin right there and the rest of All Stars, Stars X, continue to find fights and find ways to score points. And it seems like Overhaul Esports will be battling back. A nice little back and forth here between these two squads.
Those are 2 brown teams. That was Druidus that just rolled up to the hill as well. So Nova could find themselves in a nice position to third party a big fight on the south. But over here, a couple of teams north of the river.
Woo!
That's 1 member of Star down. That's a really big threat. And the second place team facing off against the first, you know that they see the end game.
Yeah. And Overhaul Esports has the opportunity to third party this one. I like this play here by Huan Ji. The rest of the team is coming on in from behind. You take a look at the mini map to the east of Huan Ji, and you've got 2 people shooting from distance so that they can't get knocked, and then 2 people watching their backs, just making sure they don't get flanked.
Revive onto Star. So they're still there as 3. But everyone's now waiting. Because of the sight lines between multiple different teams, this is close to the center of the circle. So there's always going to be that option of teams closer towards the edge with the sight onto a 3rd or 4th party, but we can wager where this circle has gone, looking at that mini map.
More river.
Yep, a lot of it. Nova is already crossing over to try and take control of that ridge, but this could be a very, very risky play because of how open it is. Not to mention they're going to have to contest with the Knights here. But now, Ventru are in a really good spot to try and gatekeep the northwest edge.
Yeah, what's happening here? Knights. Still fighting their way. They're on the north of the river, and kind of like in the middle of the circle. And you have It's just a little dip. I don't like that spot here for Knights, and they don't either as they try to turn tail and get the heck out of there. Couple of fights happening right now. It looks like Nova just lost one. It was Rin getting taken down. And here's the finish here. Yeah, all right. Knights starting to pick up some points here. Pick up the slack. They need to get things going.
They have 6 kills for themselves right now. And now they're taking control of this hill that Nova might have had their eyes set on initially. But again, what I mentioned, how open this is, especially when you look towards the west. Venture are currently worried about the teams coming in from the edge, but they could easily just 180 their angle and have some decent sightlines onto the Knights. The Knights on their own right, though, are going to have to worry about other teams crossing the bridge. Ralpho there just below the cliffs, in the water. Rest of his team swimming around with him.
Yeah, I think Ornata is going to have to be a water team. There it is. They see Ralphino. Chico can't get those shots to land. The impenetrable water.
Okay, he climbs up, gets out of the water, doesn't have to worry about his breath or anything. It's just in a nice little pocket under the bridge. And Knights now cannot worry about them anymore because you can already start to see a little bit of damage come out from other angles, including the rest of Nova, who all were able to make their way into that wizard tower.
Yeah, and this is the Knights here, right? Because as soon as you start focusing on another team, and especially if they get a knock or a kill and they find out, oh crap, in the wizard tower, that's Nova. They're in their sweet spot where we have to hit this small little speckle of them, and they get to shoot us out in the open. As soon as they start to realize that, all the teams are going to start coming from the other side of the bridge. Last one going to be occupying the other bridge right now.
Stranger jumping onto the water, trying to scout out. They have a little bit of a spider sense that someone else is here with them. Oh, did he see that? He might have spotted it. Might have spotted one more player there below. But then Star has more members rolling on up. And of course, there is Immortal, what remains of it. Poppy Kevin is knocked, should be getting revived, so they should stay as 3. But they have to move into the circle. They are just barely holding in positionally on the edge.
Yeah, StarX going to occupy the bridge. I believe we have our second team out. I think that was last one that got caught out. It was Tunathan that found them, and the rest of the team for StarX were able to clean them up. And now they control this side of the bridge. Circle has now shifted on in. 40 seconds for round number 5 circle. And you got a lot of Wizard Tower players. A lot of these spots right now, other than the Knights, where if you get knocked, you're probably safe for a revive.
Circle commits to the north, commits on to the Knights' position. But here is where that openness that you just mentioned could be a really big con for them. Because they might start getting shot from multiple angles. The only thing they have to go in their favor is their central position and the fact that all these teams on the outskirts are going to be fighting each other first and foremost. So if Knights keep their head on a swivel and they're really good at picking up kills that they see, they could do a good job picking up a bunch of kill points off of teams wounded by other squads. But keeping all 4 alive, I think, is going to be a really, really big ask.
You know, again, the team that I love saying, because we never see them all that much, Masterly. They'll be taking the vehicles, working their way on in. Lots of teams doing that. Chico just has to decide who he's going to shoot up on. As Druidas just says, yeah, I don't think you're going to hit me. And they'll just damage on in. Knights getting some decent damage out. Alucard picking up another knock in these smokes. Look how open it is. And I guess Knights are just getting teams that aren't looking before sending it. Otherwise, they just looks like they're in the open here.
They're making it work, and they're using what little ridge they have to keep the line of sight broken between them and the west side. But even so, looking at Chico right now, he is constantly swinging around his vision because of how many angles that they need to be aware of. They're making it work for now, but if anything slips, if any shot misses, it could completely fall apart. But they are making it work for now. That's the important thing. Already 7 kills in a position with the potential to pick up a lot more.
Yeah. A little scary here for him. You've got Vitality, that is Zuri's Cross. That's the green team that's right in front of them. I believe you also have Druidas that's right behind them, further in the distance in the yellow. And then you had the members of One Shot MX that were across the bridge, but it looks like those people are starting to get handled right now by Chico and Co.
A lot of teams here around the Knights were forced into the river, into the water, or even just hiding below on the banks.
Mixed
Hanging
Mafia
on.
gets taken out there. So Mixed Mafia getting knocked out. I believe that was also by One Shot MX.
Members of Ventura getting down, I see in the kill feed. Circle swing southwest over towards Nova's position. And they are actually on the aggressive maneuvers towards the north.
Knight's able to find one more. Is Drudias getting finished out. We're down to 7 teams now. With One Shot Mexico, Vitality, Knights, Stars. I believe that's Masterly that made it on in. And of course, Nova. Oh, Ralphino's still alive for Ornata as well.
Masterly here, trying to deal some damage to Ventru. Good angles, not a lot of cover for Ven. They're gonna have to use their buggies, but that's not very good cover. Shh. You can see the angle they can shoot from under that vehicle. The shots aren't really landing. Ventru doesn't have a knock against them just yet, but the Blues coming on in. Just a couple of moments.
Oh. You can also see the frustration starting to build there on Tentax. He's like, how many shots do I gotta hit on this dude before he goes down?
Well, you gotta hit the shots first, my dude.
Yeah, Ventru now fighting over with Knights. And I think that's Knights out. Yeah, Knights out in 7th place. They needed somewhere to go. They tried to send it, and everyone shot at them. Now it's Stars working their way on in. All-Star Star X. We've seen Stealth do some crazy things, but he does not have his M249 this time. They're going to wrap around. They're going to run into both, I believe that's Ornata and Vitality as they rotate to that side. So 3 teams on this side and 3 teams on the other side with Masterly. You got Nova and you've got Ventru.
Oh, there's a team behind. There's a team behind. Ventru, they've actually been able to get to
Wow.
pincer maneuver onto Masterly, and that's going to be them out in 6th place. Now control of the north, but ooh, that's Juan G getting knocked. Not confirmed just yet. Smokes immediately come out from Lucky. But Nova are also in a position to wrap up towards the north and try and finish them off. You can see G-Fan being a little curious, but he's getting shot out there by Star.
Yee!
Rush it. Spray down. Can't get the knock, but that still stops Nova from really asserting their dominance as much as they would have wanted to.
Our 6 teams quickly turn into 2 here, or into 4 here, as I believe it's Vitality that get taken out. Ornata back down to 1 up, 1 knocked. Ralphino is currently hiding behind a tree, but Quan Yu is hunting as, Rush It actually jumps into the blue. That one hurt a little bit. Remember, the blue does a ton of damage right now. Ralphino gets finished off as it was a valiant effort by the Ornata guys to get themselves all the way up to 4th place. But these are the heavy hitters right here. Ventru, All-Star Star X, and Nova fighting over the points, and G-Fan give him the dinner plate. Dinner has been served straight to the face. And now Nova in pretty good position here. Will the shots land? Yeah, Danny 2K. Meet Quan Yu.
I was about to say, Ventru were looking like they wanted to push down onto Stealth, but with Danny 2K going down to Nova, that's going to stop Lucky's push, and it's going to give Stealth an opportunity to get the revive onto Stealth, which is, well, it's going to be huge, because he has been on an absolute tear today. On you,
Man, a
with
great
angle,
3v3v3.
trying to finish Danny off.
Giving some information away when you crawl like that is trash. Oh, he's very, very spotted. And he just outguns Quan Yu. That was not what was in store here. And now Nova have to decide, what do they do? If I'm G-Fan, most of the time it's just win the gunfight. And that's what he's looking to do.
That's usually the strategy, yeah. Hey, they should have known that they dealt at least a little bit of damage, which means that they're going to go back and heal, which gives them which gives Nova the opportunity to try and gain some positioning. But once again, look how open this ending is. To Nathan with the grenade sending out towards Vendrew, trying to finish them off. Not going to find it just yet, but no one's taking center control because there was no control to be gained from the center.
Yeah, as soon as you go out there, you're just asking to get shot from both sides. Maybe a little bit of cover with that rock there, but then you're in possible grenade range. It's hard to trade back. Oh, they found a little bit of a line here as Stealth has been knocked yet again. These nades look good, and you're in range where I think they can reach. Tunathan takes a little bit of nade damage there. Stealth takes some too. The revive is going to have to come up. Nice little shots. Oh, lucky. He'll scoot right by. Oh, his little buns got toasted, but not overheated. And now Nova, knowing that 2 members are down of Star, push on to Star. Quan Yu leading the way. He sees the bodies. He picks up the points. But now the return fire comes on in from Ben True. One gets knocked. It's HZL. So right now, all alone, Lucky trying his best to buy a little bit more time with G-Fan on the flank. Trash has been knocked. He's able to get a bit more damage down. The reload at the wrong time doesn't matter. Finishes it off. Quan Yu goes down and gets finished off. HGL standing on top of the rock, but can't be seen through the smoke quite yet. Now Lucky finishes it, but he's in line. They pick it up, and it's about time. We expected it. Nova picks up the victory with 12 kills here for the squad.
Nope. Count that again.
4, 4, 4? I thought it was 12.
I thought it was 666.
Was it 666?
I don't know. One of us is right, one of us is wrong. It could easily be 18. It could be 12, could be 18. It's one of those two. Okay, it's 444. I misread. Again, I mentioned my eyesight's really bad. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm about to hit that big 30 and my whole body's just falling apart.
Yeah, man. It doesn't get better from here, but I promise your eyesight will get better. I will say, though, Ventrue at one point, I think, might have had the kill lead. They had at least 11. He gets the finish there on Quan Yu, so I believe Ventrue, although second place, get more kills, and it's a flip of the first game for Nova, where they got second place but got more kills than One Shot Mexico and found themselves in first place. The difference is One Shot Mexico nowhere to be found here in this final circle. Ventrue and All-Star Star X and Nova, the top 3 teams going right at it there at the end.
Yeah, this was a solid game, a very, very strong game by all top 3 finishers. And honestly, any of them could have won out, but Nova come out on top because this is what you do to win an end game in any sort of battle royale, is you find an opportunity where other teams get caught up in engagement and you swing in and pick up the scraps. That's exactly what they did, not only to finish Star X, but that positioning with G-Fan off on the side now had a crossfire over the remaining members of Ventrue. So 2 birds, 1 stone, and they take the win because of that, even with a solo peek by one of the members of Nova. Little risky there, but still that ended up in a 2 versus 1 that Nova were able to finish off with just a few final good shots from the West.
Yeah, I love the fact that they took a breath when they realized, all 3 teams realized, hey, it's a 3v3v3. Let's figure out what our strategy is. There's going to be a lot for Paul and Glitter to break down when we get to the break. But if you want the opportunity to have your games broken down and have the opportunity to play for the finals, make sure to sign up, ! Sign up in the chat over YouTube, over at Twitch. We'll make sure that you get your information so that you and your team can find your way up the ladder and possibly in the finals of the Mobile Open. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, the breakdown of game number 4 and then getting into the final game of the ESL Mobile Open Fall Ladder 1 Finals.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. We're here with our Ladder 1 finals for PUBG Mobile. I'm in Verum. That's Glitter. And oh, boy. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about the end of that match. The top 3 teams battled it out, and it went about exactly as you'd expect, with Nova Esports coming out on top, finally able to put up that chicken dinner that we've been searching for all night long.
Yeah, see, I was going to say, is it what we would expect? I mean, I think
Well,
coming
those
into
3
it
teams at
was.
least.
Yeah, but then they kind of, a lot of teams have been flipping our expectations on our heads. I feel like Ventru has lulled us into, or lulled the other teams into a false sense of security. I mean, 3 kills game 1, 0 game 2, and then 15 game 3, and then 13 game 4. I'm sorry, what happened? What switch did they flip? I need to know.
It's like they're like, you know what, guys? It's like that moment, you know, they're like, yeah, maybe we should stop playing with our feet and actually use our hands. And then they go from 3 kills to 28 in the matter of games. No, absolute insanity. We'll take a look back at the highlights. I mean, there's so many too many moments of insanity over the course of that game as well. That just, I think, really impressed me. I mean, we didn't even necessarily catch it as well, but Knights, I mean, they were a team that, hey, all right, they started to step up, they started to do well. Eventually, spoilers, they run into a brick wall. The start of this game, though, again, because the way these playing paths have worked, Glitter, we've had so much action. No one has had a chance to just, like, have a chill early loot, you know, to start off the game. It's just been nonstop.
I know, I think Cameron was trying to say that, you know, maybe the insanity was because of the weird playing paths and that we were going to get some normal ones, and then the game was not having any of it, okay? It was going to continue to provide us with the type of gameplay we were hoping for. Here in our finals, yet another weird zone playing path combo that just makes it that much more interesting for us. And the plays that came out of it in Verum were massive.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see it here in a bit. You know, the Knights, I talked about running into a brick wall. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to catch it here, but I'm pretty sure Stealth pulled off another essentially 1v4, picking up all 4 of these kills. You can see them start to come in here. Take a look at the kill feed as Stealth is racking up kill after kill after kill. Oh, no, one. He didn't get quite all 4 there, but it was pretty darn close as they were able to push their way into that final 3 situation. All-Stars looking incredible, and of course, VT looking absolutely insane, but as great as the individual shots were, as fantastic moment, the long-range UMP not doing so well here for Konyu. He does get outgunned in just a few seconds. It was the decision-making of Nova. There's going to become a time right here. They get behind that rock. They lay down the smokes. They go after the team they know is wounded. They leave one anchor player back so that even though Lucky Pills picks up this kill here, he can't look in 2 places at once. He can't fight them both off at once. He's got to make a choice. Who is he going to look at? Doesn't quite get the angle on that peak. Shifan's able to pop out and pick up a 12-kill chicken dinner. Nova Esports looking incredible, but Glitter, they're not necessarily at the top of the leaderboard.
They're not, and that's because they had a rough start to the first half of those games. Nova's in 3rd, although 3rd is way better because if I'm not mistaken, coming into this, they were in 6th. So this is a solid leap up the leaderboard for Nova, but Ventru has finally just barely squeaked past All-Stars by 1 point. So at this point, going into the last game of the day, it's going to be I'm watching these two, okay? This is a battle, but to be fair, Nova's not that far behind. So like you were saying, Paul, like our top 3, they're neck and neck right now.
I think in theory, I don't even. Maybe 4 pieces in there, I think, as well. Kind of. I want to say even down to the Ornata in 7th, but really, it's these top 3. It's Ventru Inc., it's All-Star StarX, and it's Nova Esports. These are the 3 teams we've got to keep our eyes on. The ones further down on page 2, look, there's still prize money for all the teams that are playing here, so they're still fighting for that, you know, bigger chunk of that prize money. But I think the chance of them getting that championship spot, not necessarily in the cards.
We've seen some solid one-off performances from a lot of those teams on the second page. At this point, moving forward, it's just about nailing down the consistency, being able to repeat those performances as opposed to 1 game here, 1 game there, because that's what we're seeing out of our top 3 right now, the ability to have high kill games consistently while also getting those placement points on the board, and that's why they are in the top 3.
Yeah, and they've been just sponging up all those points at the top. There's a reason that there's such a fall off after those teams, because they've been doing such a great job of not only getting the kills, but maintaining the position in the circle, get the solid rotations, and find those placement points. Who's going to be able to secure it all, though? That's the question. Who will be our Ladder 1 champions? Well, we're going to find out in just a few after this short break, and then on to game number 5.
Hello and welcome back to the final game. It's the final one.
Southern played.
Again. Cameron can't help his excitement because almost all of our plans have been Southern and all the circles have been Northern. And it feels like we're going to get it as the final one, the decisive map, as we have 3 teams that are head and shoulders above everyone else vying for points.
Yeah, we're really going to be looking at Venture All-Stars and Nova Esports as the teams to take this final game. So all eyes going to be on them. I don't think they're going to be wanting to hot drop each other, however. No. It's way too close. Venture are 1 point ahead of All-Stars, and even they are only 5 points ahead of Nova. But who knows? We could see a team that's in that sort of middle section, 4th through 6th, 7th, 8th, or really 6th, 7th place, have a huge game, but it would have to be the game of their life.
Yeah, it would have to be Ventru-esque performance on Sandhawk with 15 kills and a win.
Yeah,
that would actually be 30 points, and I think that's the gap right now.
But that's also hoping that Ventru, All-Stars, and Nova all go out with 0 points, which that happening is all 3 of them is very, very low. But okay, let's look at this first circle. Swings all the way towards the left, and there's a number of teams that are going to be landing towards the Monte Nuevo area. So finally we have a circle that isn't going to be so empty straight off the jump.
Trying to see if we have any hot drops right on top of each other. Multiple teams out in Los Leones. A couple of gunshots happening early here.
Ooh, Minas Generales.
Yeah, Minas Generales has the two teams right there on top of each other. So who we follow? K1 and which yellow team is this? Which gold? Ah, Immortal. So Immortal, they're in striking distance. They're one of those teams that needs to have a heck of a performance, but this is not the way that you want to do it.
No.
You're Immortal.
Yeah,
And Poppy
definitely
Sammy.
not now.
Yeah.
Trying to juke around the tree, but New Easy is able to find the angle necessary, gets the kill, and honestly, that's really the most that they could have hoped for. Caught out with no weapon, hiding behind a tree.
Riri's getting
The rest
pushed
of
here.
Immortal. Oh no, that's the
Oh,
second
yeah.
one down. This is okay. That's it. Wrap it up. That's it for Immortal.
Yeah, Poppy couldn't leave without his other Poppy, and so Poppy Kevin goes down just like Poppy Sammy, and now another Immortal member goes down. Poppy Triste. All the Poppies went down together with one lone member of Immortal. Yeah, Dazen said, "All right, thank you, parents. I will leave now."
Hey, we have an entire game ahead of us. This could be one of the most momentous villain origin stories that we've seen. Tazen's here. All three of his poppies got taken out. Shot down in cold blood right before his eyes. And he's going to come back with a vengeance. Unlikely, but we'll see.
Okay,
It's always a possibility.
Yeah, I just
It's
wanted
always a
to see where we
possibility.
could go from there. Dad Mast hiding because obviously someone was shooting at him. It must be because he's just laying on top of body armor and hanging out. Rest of his team not so concerned as we follow along with Squad One Shot Mexico. As again, remember this was our map 1 winner. They are 32 points, which is 30 points behind the current lead. And again, you gotta just need so many things to go your way. But
Yeah.
an early hot drop in wiping out a team is a good start to do so. But a lot of these teams, we're going to wait for the rotations early.
Clean early game. I've said it before. I'll say it again. That's what this is all about. And Newbie Sports Mexico able to climb up from last place, currently sitting in 12th. If they keep this trajectory up, we could see a good game for them. But they're here, I believe, on the west side of Los Leones. Now the Knights as well. This is a little scary. It's never comfortable seeing an entire squad in one vehicle, because that means if your pathing is wrong or even just unlucky, that could be your entire game done in a second. But no one ahead of them just yet.
These guys just sit in the truck. Hey, do you remember that time last time we almost wiped out all of Nova?
All of
We
Nova.
ran into this Ventru team. I don't even know those guys. Yeah. That was a good time.
Yeah, let's do that again.
I feel like they're just looking for a fight. They have to be. You're just kind of weaving around right now. Okay, there we go. They're like, yeah, anyone in this compound? I don't see anyone. All right, send it. Yeah. No
Knock,
direct
knock.
lines here.
Anybody home? No. All right, moving on.
Yeah, Knights know they've got to have an explosive game. So they got looted up as much as they're going to get. Tier 3 helmet, Tier 2 vest here for Alucard, and are just sending it all over the place. Maybe stop, find some gas, and keep it moving. Yeah, look, Alucard's just like, yeah.
I think he's posting up, trying to find some high ground to scout out a little bit. While the rest of his team, as you mentioned, gets more loot for themselves. It's a pretty good area of the map. Whoa,
Oh.
okay, all right. Go from 0 to 100 in a single observer change. Russia gets knocked. He's going to get confirmed. So Nathan's trying to well, actually not go on in. He's trying to go on out.
Oh, hey!
Oh no, Star's in a bit of trouble. It's fine. He lands, he gets back into the buggy, and they keep going off. But this is not a good start. They've only lost one. We've seen Star have good games with 3 before. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but they need to stabilize their early game.
Masterly are taking it to Ventru right now. So Masterly, who's currently in 8th place, they've had a placement type day, could be knocking out the #1 team. Lucky, trying to buy a little bit of time, but he's up against 3. I don't think he's going to be able to do this. Gets 1, gets flanked around the end, playing around, has about half health, gets a second, buys a little bit more time. The explosion doesn't get him, and now he has some hard cover. Will buy the time to use it, but gets shot down. That's Ventru out. The first team out here in Miramar.
The first team on the leaderboard and the first team dead. Lucky put up a hell of a fight at the end, using the cover of that bus to his advantage. But a single gap, a single angle onto his foot, or perhaps even just the top of his helmet through the window, was all that Mastery needed to finish them out, and they stay up alive as 4. Didn't lose a single member in that fight. And so now all the tension is back on All-Stars and Nova. And All-Stars in the middle of a fight still.
Oh my gosh. Nova might just win this by default here, because here's another one of their competitors, All-Star Star X, in a fight with Overhaul Esports, and they just pick up another knock. They rush on in. Nice little return fire there. And wow, All-Star Star X catch a break. That could have been it for them as well.
Yeah, Overhaul here. This is, you got to give them props for trying to take it to Star X, and they've dealt some good damage, but that solo run up the stairs was not the way to go. Maybe as a duo they can do it a lot better this time. Grenade goes first, doesn't find anything, and now they got to set up their timing.
There is a revive, so it is 2 people up in this building now, and they will continue to work together to try and stabilize here. But you do have Stealth 9. This has been the author of some of these great 1v1 plays here. And I believe the player that is currently knocked is Botnock.
Yeah, they got to get to him. This slow play by Overhaul Esports is guaranteeing that that revive isn't going to happen unless Star wants to go huge and take the fight. But Overhaul Esports, they are sitting in wait, standing in wait, kneeling, crouching in wait.
Yeah, you know, I don't mind this here. I think that's Nepali Hound, who's just holding the entrance, and there it is. The kill is confirmed. So only 2 members left here for All-Star Star X. They were 1 point off the lead. With that 1 kill, they are currently tied for the lead. And we'll go through rules of tiebreakers if we need to, but I imagine that Stealth 9 will be able to get at least 1 more. Oh, unless he gets shot by the M2. Oh no, that's it. Jonathan able to get 1. He's able to get 2. He stays alive in a massive 1v2. Punches him and picks up the kill. That right there is the kill to give them points for first place. So they are currently in first place. What a huge, huge clutch by Tunathan against Overhaul Esports. Gets the revive back on Stealth 9. And Mr. Hashtag with the distance snipe that earlier we saw that Russell wasn't able to pick up. Almost sealed the
Why
fate
are you bringing
here.
Russell's got nothing to do with this. Why are you
Russell
bringing
catches
him
strays,
in?
man. Russell.
Listen, I like this. I like this idea by Mr. H-Tag. Overhaul East was playing it super slow, and he comes in from the side with a great angle. So strategically, it works. But the clutch factor was there for Stars. And now they, with those kill points that they just picked up, if they just climb up, get top half, like top 8 placement points, unless Nova have a huge game. Uh-oh. Oh! All right. Stealth, a little bit greedy. We get it. You guys are good. That was a bit ambitious.
He's constantly changing the angles of where it could be. He did not see Tunathan go to that room. Now he saw him. Now it's too late. Oh no, and Mr. H-Shack now getting tagged from behind. Will he be able to get the shot? No, and it's forgiven. That buys the breathing room that they needed. So All-Star, StarX, outgunned from distance. We'll have to thank Last One's Forgiven for buying them some space there. Holy cow, what a way to kick this map off.
But back and forth between Star and H-Tag shows the advantages and disadvantages of hard cover versus soft terrain, like natural terrain. In hard cover, you have more defense, but you're limited in your angles. While if you're on the terrain itself, you can move around and be from separate angles, but it is riskier to get shot from the side, just like what we saw there.
All right, so we'll have to keep an eye on the kill feed with a presumed score change here, because again, Ventru didn't pick up any kills. And your current leaders in the clubhouse are All-Star, StarX. Have not seen Nova in the kill feed as well. Nova, your second place team. Whoa, Stranger just get pelted there. The vehicle on fire. Where are these shots coming from? And it's coming from 4-piece. Serpentine! Yeah. That was one hell of a zigzag there by Stranger. Able to buy some time. And look at this circle. It is way west. Go west, young man, for this final game.
Oh, yeah, that's just barely off of the water, just barely off of that western peninsula wall of death. And so we're going to see some more rotations from the east side, including Nova. You can see swinging in from the southern highway, just south of Valdemar. Got a couple of teams coming in from the north. A lone Immortal player way off just outside of Picado. And this part of the map, just north of Valdemar, is very, very dynamic. You got some high highs and you got some low lows. It's like 2-3 valleys all next to each other running in parallel.
You love it when the two vehicles see each other and then have to turn tail, as Drudias currently just being pelted out of their building and being forced to kind of just hang out right now.
Face off against Noob. You can see on the map, Star is swinging in from this side as well as Last One. So this two-team fight could very quickly get a little more crowded than that. But it's outside of the circle, so I don't know how much of an advantage it would be for another team to try and join this fight unless they're really just trying to milk up those kills.
I mean, 4-piece, they have vehicles. I mean, they could see if they can sneak on in and pick one up. Oh, nice little attack there. Noob Esports Mexico loses one. The drop shot. Oh, it works, Drudias! Oh, he's trying to cover his back, pick up these kills. Yes, he does. Picks up one more, and I don't know where the final member of Noob Esports is. There it is, trying to peek his way on through. What an amazing 1v3 in that situation, and one member left from Noob Esports Mexico.
Ooh, swinging around the side, trying to find the angle. But these last two members of Druidas are being a little too slippery. That also means that the revives are hard to find, but that is, I think, no one up. There's only one option for the revive, but they weren't able to find the angle, and oh, where'd that damage come from? Oh, jumping out of the window!
Wow. We've seen some amazing 1vx plays here. That has to be yet another one here for the Drudias member Luis for showing off exactly why they were the third place team coming into the tournament or into the finals, and they just haven't been able to put it together. But with plays like that, you see how they were able to get to that position. Knights, they're posted up against Nova. Said earlier, haven't heard a lot from Nova, but here is One Shot Mexico behind them, possibly putting down some damage to ruin the days of both the Knights and Nova. As the circle pops up yet again, it's more west.
Oh, it continues to swing west. Hard shift on hard shift on hard shift. And now Mixed Mafia are in the best position. Everyone else, well, good luck. Your rotations, I hope they're on point. And you better be ready to fight. And don't be caught in the low ground of the valley. That is one of the worst places to be in. Unless there's hard cover, there's a few scattered compounds that maybe you could find some solace in.
Yeah, only 2 kills here for Knights, and this has been their day. As last one, they're able to get a couple scragglers working on in. It's 4Piece, and now the rest of 4Piece showing up on vehicles, and then another team driving on by. I think that's Masterly that are driving on by. They could decide to post up at any moment, and yet they do. They're starting to get shot from distance by Stranger. Oh, that bus is not made for climbing hills of that incline. And now they're caught in a tough spot. Feng Piao is pretty far up, actually gets caught, knocked, and finished. So nice answer back by Masterly. A Stranger takes the jump on down, and he'll push on up. Not only does he have to do that to get some damage down, but has to get into the circle as well.
I like this aggressive maneuver. Last one, they're low on the leaderboard. They want to have to make a big move to climb on up. This angle by Stranger. Deals some good damage. That's Etty knocked as well. That was just 2 more. On the north, on the higher ground, Smoke bandaging up, waiting for the rest of the last one teammates to come on in. Now Masterly are still working to stabilize their own position. They're pushing down to try and get Stranger's angle neutralized. But Forgiven's grenades are here to answer.
Yeah, Masterly, they decided to take this route. They decided to try and go up the hill instead of go directly at last one, and now they have to fight this one. They're kind of stuck in this area. As you can see in the minimap, the final Knights player is peeking his head over to see if there are points to be had. I think not. And Forgiven will just drive on through and say, Masterly, thank you for the points. We've got 6 kills, and we'll keep moving on. And if we get ahead of you, we might be able to pick up some more. As I believe that's Golden getting taken down by the Blue. And the Zone will claim yet another victim.
Last one doing a good job of seeing if they can pick up those angles against Masterly, but not forgetting about the Blue and just trying to get into the circle first and foremost. Looking here on the north side, we have K1. Just trying to stabilize their position on the edge. They know they're going to have to move, but at the timing of the circle shift right now, there's no need to get into a fight too early, too soon. Where's it going to shift?
Here we go.
Where are we west going? Again? We're going to stay on Mafia? No, it's shifting all the way down towards the south. Follow the crates, some would say. And I think we've seen that a few times today in this best of 5 series. And so now Mafia already getting into their vehicles. They need to make a move.
Yeah, that crate's right in front of them. So should be an easy crate pickup. And they have everything to the west. Look, like the 4 members there just have probably 30%, 33%, a third of the circle control. The only team they have to worry about is south of them is Ornata. But I don't think that's too bad for them. You have the rotation right now by K1, and I think the information's being relayed right now by Mixed Mafia. Hey, this team is literally trying to rotate on through. And right now, last one has ascended. Will they be able to get them? Yes, they will. The down comes through. And that was, I believe, Drudias that had to just send someone on it.
Last one, they're fighting for scraps on the east side, but they're going to need to keep moving. A lot of teams trying to push in. No option but to just send it on the few compounds available. And Nova are holding strong. Not quite the dead center, but it is still a good position for them. Only 2 kills, but they are climbing up those placements. They are in position to climb up those placements. And they want to overtake Stars.
Here we go. This is what they've been waiting for, K1. They rotated on in. They found a spot next to Ornata. But, oh no, not the Mafia! Mixed Mafia got a little too excited, and Trasher gets trashed from distance by Vitality. But I think Neo should be able to pick this one up, so Mixed Mafia pick up a couple points here.
They're going to have to push down into that compound eventually. And so using the high ground while they can to make that push easier is definitely a great strategy for Mixed Mafia. Neo's going to get revived. Or sorry, Neo is sending in while Trasher gets revived.
Ooh.
I think should be good. Yes.
Ralphino, you got in, but your work isn't quite done yet.
Only 2 members left. This is the first point of contact. And he has his backup just behind him.
They
Shots
do
come
have
in
help,
actually
though.
from the
Yeah.
east side.
That's Vitality, who is raining them down right now, and makes Mafia know they're fighting on 2 fronts. They're aware where both teams are right now. As OP just gets lasered by Quan Yu. Nova making their presence felt. They picked up 4 points right now. So 4 points, 4 kills. And so here we go. Ralphino lands some shots. Will knock down Trashy. Nice little triangle that's happening right here. Ralphino holding Mixed Mafia. Vitality holding Mixed Mafia. Mixed Mafia has to decide who they want to send it on, and it's a 1v1. Ralphino going to try to get back into the house without getting shot in the back. Will he be able to do it? Yes, he will. And has time to heal on up. He has a pretty good view from the window, but they know that as well. Ralphino! He has 1 HP, but 1 is more than 0. He'll stay alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's trying to move around. But the timings just don't work out in his favor. He's not able to deal the damage when the opportunities are there. He heals up, tries to cross the gap, to swing around the side and not stop the revive, and that's exactly what he's doing. That's the second down. Now it's a 1 versus 1. First aid kit again, and Neo comes swinging on in. No cover, shooting up from the side. Maybe he can spot him through the window, but Ralphino, with his own information grab, is swinging out the side, trying to confirm more members of Mafia, trying to get more kills. That's going to be a 4th confirmed for them.
Yeah, coming around the corner, Ralphino has a big clip. Tries to use a couple there. Inside the house, it's a little bit of a ring around the Rosianna mental game. The reload comes on through. They pick up the kill. As Ralphino just barely missing him right now on the aggression. There we go. Tries to get the fight. Whoa! And he wins the 1v1 against Neo. Agent Smith wins this one. Agent Ralphino wins this one. And it's a great play there by the Ornata man to keep their hopes alive for a little bit longer.
In the meantime, the circle has swung another hard shift, this time southeast, and there's a little bit of the bridge in play, and that's where Nova have moved their own defensive setup right above Stars, which they might not know. If they were aware that the biggest threat, or the only threat really for the prize right now is right below them, we could be seeing a Hail Mary played, but at least for the moment, they're just trying to keep a stable, solid position here. Attention towards Vitality and the other teams on the north and the east.
Remember, All-Star Star X lost multiple members early on to Overhaul Esports. They were down to 2 at that point. Right now, I've only seen 1. And it's 5 kills for Nova, but the placement points are currently equal since both teams are alive here. Someone else is going to have to do the damage.
Few moments before Circle 7 pops. Nova have their fingers crossed that it's going to stay on them. But so is every other team in the Circle. Vitality incredibly wounded, limping along just outside of this camera shot. And it's just flop. Hiding behind a tree, hiding behind the smokes. Gonna suck in your gut to not get caught by a stray bullet from Nova.
God,
and the Circle pulls away from everyone.
This just feels so classic Nova. They found a spot a couple circles before what would be presumed the end, and it just gives them so much free reign to shoot without fear of getting finished. Yes, you might get knocked, but no one can finish you.
To Nathan? He's out! They found him!
There it is.
Whether they did it on purpose or not, whether they knew he was there or not, that is the result that we're looking at. Stars are out. 8 kills for Nova. This is looking really good for them.
Teams would have to combine their powers together right now to try and stop Nova, but you've got OP living on any scrap that he could find. Last one, Stranger and Forgiven. They've been through multiple wars throughout this game, hiding underneath. But Rin has found Forgiven. He was the healthier one of the two. And OP just trying his best to hide behind the tree, suck it in, get skinny. The tree saves him for a little bit longer. Ren finishes off Forgiven. Drudias able to pick up OP, so that just means it's Stranger and Drudias 2-1 against the 4 of Nova.
The stars are aligning, and Nova are lining up their own positioning, pressing forward,
Whoa.
combing the streets, remains of the circle for the last few players. Couple of shots. Oh, a little bit of heavy damage on the G-Fan, but he's going to stay alive for now.
The Nova power is so strong, the truck's pull on gravity is starting to like wrap up as well as the trucks start to lift on up. Oh, Luis able to get one onto G-Fan. We know G-Fan can get a little aggressive. But then here comes Stranger. Oh, Stranger's ruining the chance for All-Star Star X. All-Star Star X is just looking at last one Stranger being like, what are you doing, man? Why'd you do that?
And now Nova on the push. Once again, they saw the opportunity, they saw the gap, they saw the hole, they saw the moment of their victory, and they take the final game with 10 kills. Have we seen more? Yes. Is this still double-digit kills? Yes. And is this? Do we want to call it? Do we want to call it? I don't know for sure. This is my mental math, my guesswork. But this is a very solid case for Nova having won this ladder.
Well, I can't call it, but I know someone who can. Let's bring on in Mr. Invarium Toddkill. Come on, Paul. This is what we expected. Nova coming on in and doing the work. They saved it late, but they were able to be great late after crazy starts for the two other teams in front of them.
I mean, absolutely insane. As we take a look back at the highlights, I don't think any of us expected Venture, the team that put up staggering performances over the last few games, to go out so early. And just like that, the playing field opened up for those other two squads up there at the top. It was All-Stars and it was Nova. And All-Stars had a bit of a rough run of it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Rolling on up to a compound, it's already taken, and this is what we're talking about with Ventru. This Lucky, you called it, Cam, almost going so huge, but just not quite able to do it. The toe peeking out. Come on, that doesn't seem fair. As Tata was able to pick it up. Rest of the team, though, able to survive through so much here. Stealth, catching them with the pants down just a little bit. But in the end, I mean, Toon was able to hold on for so long, but Dagon, it wasn't enough for them.
No, it definitely wasn't. And you kind of wonder what happened in that fight there. Toonathan going huge. There it is. He just takes it. He got two individual 1v1s, was able to win it, and H-Tag wasn't in a position to help punish. But they spent so much time, so many resources stuck in this building because of stuff like that. Look at that. Stealth just sticking his head out, and that's a whole nother set of utility that you got to use, heals that you got to use, time where you didn't get to farm up. You know that the person sniping you was nearby. And then this play here by Gideon, that was amazing to go 1v3, have the awareness that there's someone else wrapping around as well. And it shows the strength of the lobby that was present throughout the whole day.
Last one also put up some really good moments, not just in this game, but in this entire series here. We're really giving it to some other teams.
Everybody?
And multiple teams all crossing their path. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last one, a great little run here at the end. I mean, we saw them surviving all the way until the end with Stranger. And again, a lot of teams really showed up in this final game. Moments that I wish we'd seen from them sort of throughout games 2, 3, and 4. We saw a couple of teams really step up in that first game, and then they kind of petered off. And we talk about this. I mean, Ralphino, oh my goodness, that 1v3 was absolutely sick. Absolutely massive, but it just wasn't quite enough because while all of this was going on, Nova Esports was continuing to put up kill after kill after kill. And with that elimination of Toonathan up there at the end, with these 10 kills, they were able to accrue for themselves with back-to-back chicken dinners. I mean, that's Nova Esports securing the win, not only in this game, but across the board. They are your Ladder 1 champions here for the fall, coming in as the #1 seed and performing like we know they can. 2 chicken dinners and 81 points in 5 games. That is an impressive performance no matter which way you stack it. And they were going up against some pretty solid competition. Dagon, I was so impressed by the teams who I wasn't even necessarily super familiar with coming into this. Teams like All-Stars, teams like Ventru, they were incredible to watch as well.
Yeah, and even in that play, like Drew Diaz, they showed they have the mechanics and the outplay possibility within the team. And I think that's why it's very impressive that All-Star and Ventru were able to eke out that many points because it wasn't just the gunplay. It was the strategy that went into multiple of their wins. Now, here at the end, did they falter a little bit? Sure. But you compare that to a couple teams that we've seen in the space, right? We've seen Immortal, NA. We've seen Knights that weren't quite able to put it together. Even though we saw what their clear strategy was. They were the ones that were taking the fights. They were the ones being proactive multiple times. And it just didn't pan out. So when you're able to put a complete game together like that, it's very impressive for some of these teams and some of these squads that haven't been in those positions on a bigger stage before.
Yeah, and ultimately, Nova Esports take this event with a huge lead. But remember, halfway through this series, only 5 games, they were down in like 5th, 6th place. So I think it just shows the veteranship behind this team, that they know what needs to be done, whether it's the beginning of the series or the end of this series. They just take each game. They know exactly how to get the most points out of it, Sanok not included, and just have a solid, consistent series.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's an accident. Oh,
it's not. And for me, I just feel like it's another great opportunity to watch one of the best teams in North America, right? It is a great showing that they do not necessarily play to their opponent's level. They set the standard time and time again.
I 100% agree. And it's a great opportunity to show what a team can do who will study where their opponents are dropping, who will keep an eye on these situations. And when similar playing paths occurred, it's not a coincidence that on the repeat maps, they stepped up as big as they did. So props to Nova, huge play from them, and great job from you guys. That was nonstop action from start to finish. Which means it's time to say goodbye for you guys. Go relax, take it easy, enjoy the rest of your night. Go follow those fine lads on Twitter if you're not doing so already, which means we got to get Glitter Explosion back into the fray to recap this. What a stellar series of games. And I like how Nova left us with no choice but to be like, yes, you are the best. Back-to-back chicken, take it.
Right? I mean, but I feel like it was a really good balance. Like, obviously, Nova did really well, and they solidified themselves in that top spot. But the level of competition across the board in our top 3 was so solid. It was so good, and it was so entertaining. I think, in my own personal opinion, if any of those 3 teams had ended up in that first place position, I would have felt okay with that. It would have felt justified. It would have felt earned. And it was really fun to watch.
I think it was because when the teams went off, they went off in such a dramatic fashion. Great consistent games. They're picking up 6 kill, 3rd or 4th place finishes, and they just did that. Those are great to see. But when they're in those top situations, pulling up like 28, 30 kill games, okay, these are fun, explosive moments to watch, which is absolutely fantastic. So props to all the teams, not only that made it here tonight to compete in our Ladder 1 finals here for our fall season, but especially to those teams up at the top 3, and of course, our victors, Nova Esports. Absolutely stellar play from them. We were definitely in for a treat tonight. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of these future broadcasts, any of these future tournaments, events, all the good stuff, Twitter, !social. That's where they can find it. And say they were a player watching this who was so inclined to get involved. How could they do so?
They could just go ahead and do ! Sign up in chat, all right? And then jump on board for the second half of our season, okay? There is still time. We have an entire other ladder, folks. So get your team on there, get yourself signed up, because maybe you could be our next champion.
And look, if you got up really early overseas as well, maybe you're in Europe and you're sad because you think this is only for it. No, we have tournaments going on around the world for a ton of different titles. So you definitely need to check them out and get involved. And for the PUBG Mobile fans, sign up because I want to see you here in our next Ladder Finals. But that means it's done for us tonight. Nova Esports came out, crushed it. I can't wait to see how these other teams continue to perform because, man, we got some serious talent here in North America. But that means it's it for us tonight. For myself and Farum Glitter, the rest of the crew, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.